This is the M Zone.
And a good Monday afternoon to you. This is the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA, online at thebig1050.com. Here inside of our Ann Arbor studios, let's go around the horn real quick because we got a lot to talk about and preview. We are also live on our stream. We'll break down where you can listen and watch us right now. Go right in front of me, my 6 o'clock, but he is down left of me on the screen. It's one Mr. Brandon Brown. B, how you doing this afternoon?
Feeling great. Looking all right.
You look all right, yeah?
Yeah, feeling great, though. Man,
Yeah.
Dude, how fun is this, bro?
I mean,
in the studio, full house. I mean, we're missing J-Mo.
Yeah. But
We'll find out if we're really missing him, I guess.
we'll find out by the time we get to 6 o'clock this afternoon. We got right. We've got the MVP of the M Zone, Miss Vanessa Pawlak, who is to my right on my screen, but to my 1 o'clock here in the studio. Vanessa, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey. Good to see you guys. I'm so glad we got everybody here.
Absolutely.
Except for Brandon's red shirt.
Yeah, well, I mean,
this was a whole outfit plan, but it got way hotter. I had a black hoodie to go with the Jays, and it's way too hot for all that, though.
It's Jamie's favorite color. We'll let it go.
Yeah,
I thought about that
crimson.
when I walked in. It's a little bit off.
We're going to call it crimson today.
Mm-hmm.
It just is on it for Jamie. So
there you go.
Pistons red.
There you go. Pistons red. And the blue, red, and white. It's only fitting we kind of bring some of the guys from our Sunday show, the Sunday Morning Playground, in as well. Joining me, he's at my 255-ish in studio. Bottom right on your screen.
Not 3:06 the start time?
No, because it's just off a little bit. We call him Booby Toothington III Esquire, but better known as Bobby Tooth. How you doing, Bobby?
Dude, it's 70 degrees. I just crushed a final exam. We got a full house and a lot to talk about. I'm thriving.
Everything is lit and rocking the ones and twos for us today. You know him best as E-Boogie. He's to the left on my screen, but he's on the other side of the glass. Eric Black on the ones and twos. E-Boogie, what's going on?
Oh man, feeling good, feeling great. Trying to rep my Pistons wherever I go. I'm just wearing the Pistons on my sleeve all over the place. Whether you're in my living room or taking a nice walk after some basketball games, because you got to touch grass for a moment.
You got to touch grass.
You just gotta sometimes.
You got to touch grass once in a while. We got a lot on the docket for today. We're going to be busting down a little bit of them gritty Detroit Tigers who wrapped up their 10-game homestand with an 8-2 record, the best record in the American League, mind you. We got to talk about the travesty that happened at Little Caesars Arena yesterday afternoon.
Come on!
We have to rip the band. I'm sorry, we got to rip the bandage off from it. We have to unravel that. Plus, it is the Monday following the 2025 NFL draft, so we're going to talk about the draft here. Coming up at 3:30, we'll be joined by Nick Baumgartner from The Athletic, beat writer for the Lions, and breaks down a lot of the NFL draft. By the way, you can listen to us, obviously, on your transistor radio, 1050 AM in the greater Ann Arbor, Washtenaw County area, online at thebig1050.com. If you got one of those smart speakers like Alexa or Google Home, you can listen on that as well. Or why not just join us on stream? We're streaming on all of our platforms that we have available. Facebook, on facebook.com/thebig1050WTK. The M Zone's Facebook, which is M Zone. Well, it's facebook.com/the Morris Zone because Jamie won full possession of that.
Fine.
We love Jamie.
Give it to him.
Yeah. He's not here to defend himself. I mean, it's a 5-6 hour difference right now. He's probably somewhere on the beach having a plant-based
Mai Tai,
pina colada or something like that. I don't know.
A little Dole Whip.
Maybe. Who's to say?
Got it, man.
We continue on with the meta platforms at 1050WTK on Instagram, on YouTube, youtube.com/@thebig1050WTK. And I figure if I'm hosting, I'm going to find a way to utilize my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/themizonair. As my friend Kira weighing in, saying good afternoon about everyone. My friend Athena also, apparently she can't type either. So that's only fitting for you, Athena. But we wrap up last weekend with the springtime festivity that is the 2025 NFL draft. Real question is this. Did the Lions do enough? Did they get the right guys? Is my real question.
I think they filled a lot of gaps.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, though. I mean, their coaching staff got destroyed a little bit. we had some injuries, a lot of injuries, but I do think they worked hard to close a lot of those gaps. So we'll see on July 31st in Canton, Ohio.
Preseason game. That's the first preseason game to open things up against the Los Angeles / San Diego Superchargers. And Jim Harbaugh should be a good one to watch, but more importantly, a great ceremony that wraps up in Canton, Ohio. Everyone tries to figure out what the grade of every NFL team does for their draft. We never know.
A B+ any day.
Hey, anytime you're above a C, you should be feeling pretty good about yourself. How did the Lions do? According to Chad Reuter of CBS Sports, gives the Detroit Lions a solid B.
Yeah.
A solid B.
It feels a little weird that they didn't get an edge until they did. You know, you go 6th round with the project, you know, that he's only been playing football was 4 or 5 years. I think the kid out of Boise.
Yeah.
I'll probably
Ahmed Hassanian.
I'll probably destroy his name.
I
I
will
was going to say.
Go ahead.
Looks like a freak show.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like lots of potential, but they don't need, they need more help there than a 2 or 3 year project potential type of kid. And that makes you think that they're maybe going to do it some other way.
I mean, they can re-sign Z Smith, who still has not signed and was solid, and that's definitely an option. And I was talking with Eric a little bit before the show. So there was a couple videos coming out of kind of the first sets of practices with Hassanian, and it looks like he has the absolute like Detroit Dan Campbell attitude. There's videos of him like almost like yelling like positively in excitement, like kind of with grit at some of the coaches. Like, come on, let's go. Let's get it.
I'm ready to die in the field for you. I'm ready to die in the field for you.
He did tell Dan Campbell, I'm ready to die on the field for you,
Exactly.
which I think is a good start.
Yeah.
Kneecaps, baby,
No,
kneecaps.
No, 100%.
Skipping the kneecaps, he's going straight to death.
That
So
could
where else to go?
Exactly.
Straight unalive for his
Or
coach.
Nowhere else to go.
And as something that Eric mentioned to me that I didn't even realize was, you know, one of the first or the first, you know, like Middle Eastern player taken in the draft. And like, there's such a big Middle Eastern presence.
He's from Egypt.
From Egypt.
Very
First Egyptian. Yeah.
Egyptian.
Sorry. And having such a huge, you know, like Egyptian presence in the area, it's like he's going to have all those fans. That's when we're like, he might not have had a chip on his shoulder. Like, we're going to give him a chip to put on his shoulder and it's going to make him play better. And for a 6th round pick, I'm excited to see like how he can deliver.
I mean, 6'3", 271, makes a lot of plays, has had a lot of tackles for loss, a lot of sacks, and not a lot of football. And big, you know, Dan Campbell likes those edges that are a little bit. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, he's explosive. He's a big dude. I mean, he's a big guy. How do you say it? Say it again.
Ahmed Hassanian.
Hassanian. Okay, not as long as Aiden at 6'3", but I mean, certainly he's pretty yoked up. If you see his pictures from the combine, pretty explosive and makes a lot of plays around and behind the line of scrimmage. So there's some things to like. I mean, I would guess most Lions fans had never heard of the guy, and whenever that happens, you kind of go like, "Oh, what are they doing?" But
what do you mean? You don't have the Mountain West package?
Exactly.
Come on.
You weren't locked into Boise State every week?
Didn't catch the Egyptian-born Ahmed Hassanian running around on the Smurf turf this fall, but you know,
the Smurf turf.
There's a lot to like about what he seems to bring to the table. So we'll see. But yeah, it still feels like there were some edges available and they didn't go that route. But you know, until Brad Holmes really blows it,
he's built up a lot of good faith.
That's
and it's like, if he
is.
sees something in a 6th round pick, awesome.
I don't doubt anything about Brad Holmes, honestly, at this point. I mean, if you think about it, a couple of years ago, he went out, traded up to pick Gibbs.
And
he traded back.
No, he traded back. He traded back.
Bijan Robinson was on the board, though.
He was on the board.
So that's a huge bet.
And everyone, including Mel Kiper's grandma and his mama.
Dude, is he okay after this weekend?
I don't know.
You know,
but I will not.
He's not okay.
What I will say is I will not repeat the tweet that I had about him now that Shedeur Sanders is finally off the board, because it's not safe for work. It's not safe for radio.
I got that in the text form, and
you did
crying emoji.
It was let's say it's not. It wasn't good, but I don't question anything that Brad Holmes does. When you go out, you trade back for Jahmyr Gibbs, and Bijan Robinson was still on the board at the time that he drafted him.
I was heated.
And everyone buried Brad Holmes. What happened since then? He was graded as a C-. He got himself a nice little extension. He's gonna be running for the Detroit Lions for quite a long time. By the way, was it Hassanian?
Yes,
Hassanian Back-to-back all Mountain West Conference first teamer. Combined, let's see, Downriver Mathematics, 23 and a half sacks.
In 48 games.
In 48
Not bad.
games. Yeah, not bad at all. To complement that, he had, again, Downriver Mathematics here, trying to figure this one out. 12 plus 15 is 27 plus another. That's 28 tackles for loss in total. The last 2 years. Mind you, this is a Boise State team this past season that went to the college football playoff. Unfortunately, dropping to Penn State out in the desert. But I mean, I don't doubt a single bit of Brad Holmes and his drafting tactics, to the point where I have a friend of mine that I went to high school with messaging me during the third round going, "We got a Tesla."
Finally, a Tesla worth rooting for.
Isaac Tesla, third round pick at 70 from Arkansas. First off,
wicked flow.
That's a big guy.
That's a 6'4" dude,
Big,
fast,
strong guy.
fast guy, and he's got duct tape, the best kind of duct tape on his hands. Like he never dropped a ball in his time at Hillsdale College. Shout out to the local college here in town. Well, just west of us. And going and transferring to Arkansas. So going from a D2 school to the SEC. Huge jump. Huge jump. And this guy is ready to go to, and he's ready to ball. And I didn't think a wide receiver was really something that needed to be picked up by the Lions this year after you brought Timmy P back. You're bringing him back. J-Mo had, again, probably it'll be this way as his career goes on, one of the best seasons he's had in his career.
But he unfollowed us on Instagram, Miz. He doesn't want to be here.
Did you hear what Tesla did, by the way? He went to his formal draft day meeting in a Lions jersey with the Lions.
With his custom
Draft the guy.
He's
gotta love that.
By the way,
Hey, man, grew up in Michigan.
Another local I mean, those kids.
I have a small grudge against his hometown high school, but we don't need to get into that. I'm happy he's here.
Exactly. He's had that jersey since eighth grade, so it's not a front.
It's okay.
Yeah,
he's not.
It's
he's
a
not messing around.
32. Who would have been a 32 for him in 8th grade? Who was 32 for the Lions back then?
Is that a
We're
running back
talking maybe
number?
6 years ago.
Like
Those were
running
the
back
dark
number.
years.
Like a DeAndre Swift,
I
maybe?
don't know.
It might have been Swift.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Those were the 0-16 years.
Those were the dark. That was the dark ages.
Those are the dark ages we try to forget about.
We don't talk about those times.
That's Swift all day. Good call back there.
We haven't talked much about it. Their first round selection, though, unfortunately, from the college down south.
I promise I'm not
fun.
dyslexic. Seeing they welcome Tyreek Williams. Did I read it as Tyreek and going, hold on, what is happening here? It's like, no.
Well,
Tyreek.
No big run stuffer though.
Yeah, and honestly, this is something that the Lions have been definitely wanting to bolster, especially after last year when you lost Ali McNeil. You lost
DJ Reader.
DJ Reader.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many more defensive linemen did we lose all throughout the year? We lost Kaminsky.
Was Pascal out for a while?
Pascal
Dude, he was out for like half
for a bit too.
Yeah.
So I mean, the defensive line.
Marcus Davenport too.
Got decimated.
Marcus Davenport.
I mean, you just list the Detroit defensive linemen. They missed a bunch.
And I didn't even mention Aiden, but we know everyone knows about Aiden. But I mean, outside
all the
of
depth got hurt too.
Exactly, and I mean to the point where you had to bring in guys I never knew played at Eastern Michigan into the postseason.
Shout out to the Eagles.
Shout out to Eastern Michigan. Fire,
of course.
I'd say fire up Eagles, but that'd be completely wrong.
Careful.
I know. But
Class of 21. Let's go.
you needed someone to clog up the middle. That's been something that the Lions have been doing especially well over the past couple of years under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. I'd say Aaron Glenn, but he's in New York.
I love his decision making so far, man.
I tip the cap to
He's becoming
Aaron
my favorite
Glenn.
coach.
Aaron Glenn is the kind of petty that I'm okay with.
I love it.
Okay with.
It's the
I will
best.
point that out. But Tyreek Williams coming from Ohio State, yeah, I know everybody boo that man.
Grown.
Aiden will keep him in check.
That's exactly it.
Aiden will keep him in check.
Aiden with the recovering leg.
It's a bummer because now Tyreek, he goes into the pros and he still can't beat any of the Michigan teams. So that's
he still won't get his
man.
He
That's
still
a
won't
bummer,
get his
man.
gold pants.
That's a bummer.
He still won't get gold pants, but he gonna wear silver pants. Silver pants is good, better than no pants.
So shimmery silver pants.
But I mean,
Just the shark suit.
Yeah, I mean, when you're still waiting to find out, is Ali McNeil going to be ready to go coming off of the ACL injury late in the year last year? And for a big guy, I should know, I am said big guy. It is tough when a part of your body, especially lower body, when you're trying to recover from an injury in the lower body. So you don't know the rate or the pace that someone's going to recover from said injury. Will Ali McNeil be healthy? If not, Tyleik Williams fits the role of being a huge run stopper, clogging up those A-B gaps and running plays. And he's had a couple of sacks at Ohio State.
He's athletic.
He can
move
dude.
for 330.
Yeah,
and that's where you can move him around a little bit on your. You can have a guy who's 330 pounds, but can put some pressure on the quarterback on passing down. So he's. I mean, you take a guy in the first round, you need that guy to be. I mean, I know it's late first round with
a
the line.
Contender for a starter.
Starting or providing very, very solid depth. And
even if him and McNeil are going like 50-50 as he's coming back,
What did Brad Holmes talk a lot about last week before the draft? He talked about we take best player available.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do. We're not here to reach for a guy for a need position. And defensive line, I think, is closer to one of those probably need positions. You got a lot of guys who are in their early 30s. You're probably going to have to replace pretty soon, right? And if you're going to have Aiden Hutchinson make a bunch of money, you're probably going to need younger guys on cheaper deals on the defensive line just to sort of spread the money around. But I don't know. Did you guys feel like there were better players available? I mean, the Eagles keep getting away with it. Are we just going to keep letting them do this?
Spot over the Chiefs was pretty funny to me.
It's either the Eagles or the Chiefs are finding ways to, pull their way, push their weight around and pull their ways to get guys to fit their role.
But did Jihad Campbell? I mean, naming your kid Jihad in what 2004? That is a brave individual. Individual. Let's see if it works out.
I think they put the emphasis on Jihad, but still, it's borderline.
Right.
He goes by Jay. He's Jay Campbell. It's okay.
But either way, Eagles get a great player. I thought that was maybe somebody that Detroit might think about taking, but I don't know. What do you guys think about? Was that a need pick? Was that a best? Do you really guys think he's going to be the best player available at that sort of somewhere 28-30 range or whatever those guys in the draft?
So I didn't know this when he was at Alabama because I think he had 115 tackles anyway, but he's got two bum shoulders. That's not a great injury for a linebacker. You've seen other really good linebackers have their careers derailed from stuff like that. He's super athletic. He was very, very productive, and he was at Bama. I mean, that checks a lot of boxes, but coming in with an injury history, especially in both shoulders as a 250-pound thumping linebacker, that's not ideal. But we've also seen the Lions draft guys with injury. I mean, Jamison Williams is a prime example. They drafted him knowing he wasn't going to play because he had a tore-up knee.
Correct.
And you're going after a speed guy with a tore-up knee. That's probably just as alarming as a linebacker with bad shoulders. So I was hoping they would actually take Campbell. I like the idea of them getting a little more dynamic at linebacker. I didn't know a whole lot about Tyleik Williams, but reading about him and how he fits and to potentially take the load off of Ali McNeil, it's a good pick. But you're right. The Eagles seem to keep getting away with this. They'll take guys who are I don't know. And then they just become, maybe the best pair of D tackles in the NFL, over the last couple of years. The big boys from Georgia. I forget both of their names right now.
Jalen Carter is one for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other one is, we're getting to it.
And they just managed to win a Super Bowl last year. So whatever. Apparently it's working, right?
Listen, I rip on the Buckeyes and I rip on Alabama all the time because they're our biggest rivals at Michigan. But if you're talking about performance, and now we're in the big boy leagues, we want guys that are coming from top talent programs that are going for kneecaps in college because that's what fits the Lions, right? So I can kind of get over the whole Buckeye thing, even though I'm not a fan, if it's going to make a big difference for the Lions. And I think that's exactly what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are going for. They're going for that aggressive performance, that athletic, as you talk about, Brandon, that athletic player, that dynamic guy that can come in and really add value and fit into the culture of a team how we play.
They went to the Georgia well 3 times. That's not a bad look.
They went to the SEC well damn near every time, with the exception of Boise State and obviously Tyleik Williams in the first round. So I mean, it was very SEC heavy here in Detroit.
Jordan Davis was that other name.
There you go.
How can you forget? I mean, he's an outstanding country singer too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, wrong guy. Sorry, wrong guy.
I was fully expecting the other recently added to the Big Ten player. When I was talking with Jamie last week, if we weren't getting edge, I actually thought we were going to go O-line, which we obviously did with multiple guards. But Josh Connerly out of Oregon, the offensive tackle, who is actually who I expected him to take once it got down there. But hey, again, like I didn't see any bad picks, and I have faith that they're going to work out for now.
Instead, he goes to the Commanders, right? Now he's going to protect who now the Lions fans hate, of course, right? Yeah.
The one thing I will know, and we'll talk to Nick Baumgartner about this, because I know like earlier, like when the season wrapped up, and I think we were, the Super Bowl had wrapped up at that point, I had asked Nick about, what about the mystery project known as Manu Giovanni. And it sounded like they were speaking high of him throughout the season, as far as being, on the scout team and getting more reps at practice, that maybe this year, if somehow Taylor Decker goes down with another injury, God forbid Penei Sewell goes down with an injury, that this guy is the right guy to come in and fill in the spot if Dan Skipper has to be a wide receiver again. So who knows at this point? But as you mentioned, Brandon, in the second day of the draft, the Lions decided to go to Georgia and pick up the mullet-wearing offensive guard, wearing the best number of all numbers, 69 on 3 with me together. 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
I did not participate in that.
That's right.
Let the record show.
And we respect you for it.
I only know who Tate Ratledge is because I play Ultimate Team on NCAA football. So I was like, actually, that's what's helping me a lot with a lot of these names in the draft. I'm like, where have I seen you? Oh, that's right. You're my 94 overall guard on the right side.
The fact that after getting drafted, they talked with him and his father afterwards, saying, "So what's next for you?" Finishing off these bush lattes. This man apparently had one thing set in mind, and that one thing was to have himself an outstanding weekend getting drafted to the Detroit Lions. And it should honestly fit perfectly well. I mean, we've seen over the past couple of years, the guard position with the Lions on the offensive side has had a lot of injuries. We've seen Graham Glasgow go from guard to center when we've had, why am I blanking on the center's name again for the Lions?
Frank Ragnow.
Frank Ragnow. When Ragnow went down with his 15th foot injury. So you've had Glasgow had to shift over. But sometimes you need to add depth, and I think Rutledge adds that little extra depth, and I think could fit into the role if Ragnow, because Ragnow has talked about talking about retiring at some point. The ticker for offensive linemen isn't as long as I think a lot of people expect. It's not like a quarterback where if you're Tom Brady and you just throw the ball away, you're okay. You can play 21 seasons.
Quarterbacks with a big arm,
seasons.
You're not taking that many hits. Like you can chuck it for 50 years.
And if you have an offensive line built around you that's built with, Idaho potato studs and Wisconsin backwood boys, you're going to be held up just fine. So I think getting Tate Rutledge in the second round at 57 from Georgia was a good fit. The Isaac Tesla one, I kind of scratched my head about a little bit. Then you go and you watch the film, you hear about him going with the team meetings in Detroit. You're like, this guy just spews Honolulu blue and silver. This guy is made for the Motor City. This guy wants to stay home, wants to play for his hometown team, and it's a perfect fit. You fast forward to the 5th round, day 3. They continue to dip into the SEC pool of offensive linemen and pick up Miles Frazier out of LSU at 171. We mentioned Ahmed Hassanian from Boise State at 196. Then they finish out with 2 picks out of the SEC, specifically Georgia. Dan, I'm going to take your head off Jackson at 230. And at 244, another wide receiver in Dominic Lovett.
You talk about biting kneecaps. Dan Jackson is here to decapitate. That's what he's about. He's taking your head off.
Because I was asked about this from some people, what do you think about Dan Jackson? Like, think Brian Branch, but with more intensity and more ferocity. And we all know how much Brian Branch is a high-octane player for the Lions on defense. You get another guy that's got that same kind of mentality, it's going to fit perfectly
This staff has such a type. Yeah. They have such a type, they stick to it. I mean, Dan Jackson, former walk-on, kind of made his way, ended up being a contributor at a place like Georgia, and now he's, like you said, he's
people with something to prove is our type.
Something to prove, working hard, just trying to get it done, gritty.
We got angry linemen and twitchy corners.
We joke about the biting kneecaps and just going crazy and playing with your hair on fire. They like specifically look for those guys, and it's very clear, and they find them, and they love football, and they're going to go all out, and they're going to work hard. And that's, I mean, it was part of the culture change that made them better before the talent even caught up. Now the talent's caught up, and that's why they're one of the favorites in the NFC.
And having such a high octane coach is like one of the things you
perfect
need.
Marriage.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where like sometimes those players, obviously the skills there and the intensity's there, but sometimes they just like can't be coached quite right. But when you have such like a super gung ho, high octane coach, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go step for step with these crazy intense players, and we're gonna get the most out of them because I'm just as fired up as they are. Which is that's
awesome. The Detroit chip on your shoulder.
Yeah,
right? It's a hardworking city. All of our sports teams are like that, and I love to see it when it comes out like this.
Unfortunately, not the Red Wings
guy.
Right now.
Well, they need to find their inner chip on their shoulder.
So there's a lot that the Red Wings need, and something that's definitely going to be addressed
but yes,
here during
for the most part, you're absolutely right. That is the Detroit mentality.
I hadn't heard the quote from Hassanian about dying on the field. That's the best.
That's the real quote.
That's the best. It's like 2 or 3 times in the phone call that he had. He's like, "I'm ready to die for you, coach. I'm ready to die in the field for you.
That's so good.
I'm ready to die in the field. I'm
That's
ready to
what I want to hear."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this dude. If he may not be a starter, he may be second or third on the depth chart.
A bit hard, but he's in there.
He's gonna be one of those guys that's gonna bring A+ effort every time that he hits the field, or even in practice, and he'll probably take on his offensive cohorts and
and that type of mentality bleeds off on the rest of the team. You get guys like that, and like it's like one good apple makes the rest good too.
The more people you're around that are all the way in, the easier it is for you to be completely invested.
Yeah. Chad Reuters from CBS Sports give the Lions a B on his overall grade. We'll talk with another guy here in a matter of moments about the Detroit Lions, and we got to talk about the program tying 3 guys drafted from the Wolverines going to the NFL early on, and break things down with him. That him being Mr. Nick Baumgartner from The Athletic. He'll join us on the other side as you're listening to the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA and online at thebig1050.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Mr. Program.
Got a whole full house in here today. Look at
Nick, what's up?
I was not expecting a whole bunch of us to be in studio, but hey, here we are.
Love
How
it.
you doing there,
All
bud?
right. Good. How are we doing?
Doing all right. Jamie's in Hawaii, probably sipping on plant-based pina coladas.
Hawaii. Oh, my
juice.
Coconuts and pineapples.
Yeah,
Jamie.
got to do it somehow.
You can have my pineapple pizza for all the crap I took for that.
Good to see you, Nick.
Hey, buddy. What's going on, Brandon? How are you?
Yeah, man. Good, dude. Good to see you, man. Can't wait to talk a little draft, dude.
We survived another one. How about that?
Somehow we survived it. And
Shador got drafted. Everything's fine.
I was going to ask you.
I got questions for you on that.
Talk about a guy who loves football.
I was going to ask you, Nick, have you, I don't know if you've got connections with Mel Kiper, but is he okay after 2
Oh my God.
Sitting around and saying, the NFL don't know what they're talking about. Shador Sanders.
Like, that was obviously like really, really bad.
Where's the Jamie drop with the noise?
The NFL Network guys were getting there too by the end of it. It was like,
I believe it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was Jamie making
That's
that
Jamie
sound?
Morris. Yeah.
That was Jamie losing his mind about something. I can't remember what it was.
It was Stringalis, right?
Yeah.
Something
That's
like that. I don't know.
interesting.
It's my favorite drop.
It was about one of our callers who was
Yeah.
Well, I'm good actually.
But what did you think of? I mean, not just like, because we'll break that down when we come back on air, Nick. But what did you think overall of like how Green Bay kind of set things up out there in Wisconsin?
Well, it was like a quarter of the people that Detroit got. I think somebody said to me it was 250 or something like that.
Pretty close
total. And I mean, it looked cool, but like it was basically just a parking lot.
Like it is technically a smaller location.
Next year, I think will be cool. Will be even more cool in Pittsburgh. Like I think they'll do a really good job with it. It'll be in the middle of the city. Like that's what I like. Like Nashville did that too the one year. And I think Cleveland.
States with more than one team, you'll get extra fans. It's like, all right, it might not be our home team's town, but like we're still gonna go for it.
And it was cool. Like Thursday night looked cool. Like it was full. The parking lot and everything was full, which is nice, but
Whatever
Pretty
they do, just make it so it's not 90 seconds for guys to walk out. Can we just
Yeah, that
can we
was-
see
yeah,
that
that-
a little bit?
That was a long haul for those.
Stop,
guys.
get a hat, take a picture in front of a little box,
Oh my
and
God,
then
yeah.
the long wall.
Yeah,
of
they
team
were far
logos.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like because they had the green carpet over at Lambeau,
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's probably why then. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but the thing is, like Lambeau was like
Coming back
behind
in
the
about 1
crowd,
minute.
if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was just next to it.
It was just in the. They just had him in the parking lot of Lambeau. Like that's where the people were standing. I think
Yeah.
for the most part,
I'm,
like the
I'm,
big
I'm,
parking lot.
I'm still curious how many people they had to turn away with their hibachi grills and Johnsonville brats.
They can just do it in the neighborhood, like across the street, right there.
Honestly,
Lambeau Field is exactly like Michigan Stadium in the setup.
Oh, yeah.
It's like right in the middle of a neighborhood. It's actually kind
Did
of
they
cool.
take care of the media? How was that?
I didn't go, so
Oh,
I
you
wasn't
didn't
there.
go?
Thank God. No,
Oh,
Thank
okay,
God,
okay.
yeah.
I had
But-
too much to do
ain't got time for that.
here.
But have you gone to Lambeau though?
Yes. One time, I can't remember when, but yeah, a long
Did
time ago.
Did they treat you at least halfway decent?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's a good
Okay.
place. Like the Packers are really good.
Midwest
board in
nice. They're all
15
they're
seconds to
cool
open.
there.
Yeah, the whole say hi to your folks for me and watch out for
Mhm.
deer.
Watch out for deer.
That's right.
Charlie
Say
Beans,
hi to
Tom
your
Grassi.
folks.
Spotted cows and bratwurst all day long. Yeah, deer.
For any of you who know who Tom
Spotted
Grassi
cow,
is,
yeah.
the 6th round pick was cool.
The Wisconsinites that are watching this are like, "Hey, he said our beer." Yeah,
All right,
you're
stand
right.
by. You once.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan. With the 13th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan.
And with the 47th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Will Johnson, defensive back, Michigan.
With the 90th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Josiah Stewart, linebacker,
All right.
Michigan.
With the 188th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Khalil Mullings, running back, Michigan. With the 191st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Miles Hinton, tackle, Michigan.
NFL draft coverage audio provided by the NFL Network as we're back here on the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA, online at the Big1050.com. Matt Missler, Brandon Brown, Vanessa Pawlak, Booby Toothington the third, E-Boogie on the ones and twos, and joining us from the Athletic, a certified dude is the best way I'll say it. Writes for the Lions, does a lot of work for the NFL with the NFL draft. It was only fitting I had to bring him on, the Monday following the draft. Nick Bumgardner from the Athletic. Nick, good afternoon. Thanks for carving out a little time for us today, my man.
Absolutely. Good to be here. We got a full house, Miz. This is really great. Love it.
Trust me, it turned into, okay, it's going to be a couple
Party.
of us. And
Yeah.
then it turned into more and more and more. How do you like it? How do you like it? We like
pretty
it
good.
a lot.
I like
you
it
can
too.
Yeah, by the way, you can follow Nick on Twitter or X, however you want to call it, at Nick Bumgardner.
Twitter.
Okay, yeah, that's what I do call it too. Nick, you joined the room. Well, at least we popped you in as we were about to hit a break, and we talked about was it Dan Reuter from Chad Reuter from CBS Sports giving the Lions a B as an overall grade for the draft. How would you grade it out for the Lions from this past weekend?
Yeah, I think I saw somebody on Yahoo, I think it was, call it an eat your vegetables draft, which I really liked. And I think that that's about right, a B plus. It was a solid draft. There's not a lot of like sexiness here in terms of like, whoa, like this guy's going to be, a Gibbs or somebody like that, or even a Jameson. But like this was a really, really solid draft that addressed some areas that they needed to address. But it also was one, again, where at every stop along the board, they just took their guy. And the one pick that probably is a little bit of a head scratcher based on everything that they gave up was Isaac Teslaw there. But also when you watch the tape on him, you completely understand why Holmes likes him. So that's that way all the way through. And then Hassanin, Ahmed Hassanin, the defensive end from Boise, is like, I think he's going to be like the Malcolm Rodriguez of this year for that team. That'll be just a guy that everybody loves across the board. So solid group, solid draft. All these guys can play. And for a team that doesn't need a lot of, doesn't have a lot of spots, it's about what you want. So yeah, I can't really complain too much.
Nick, I wanted to ask, we talked about this before you jumped on. There's 32 teams in the league. Some are run really well, some not very well. And then there's a kind of a middle of the pack. And the Lions are certainly moving towards the top in terms of front office, being connected to the coach, being connected to the players. Do you think there's another team doing it as well as the Lions in terms of getting guys that, like, it's like Dan Campbell just in another body with every guy they draft? Like, is this, how special is it that they're doing that? And obviously it seems to be working with the success they've had too.
Honestly, in that sense, I don't think that maybe the Rams, oddly enough, where Holmes came from, are about the only other team I would say that do it like this, that just like the Ravens, I guess, are close, but like they kind of just go best player and we'll make it work around that guy. The Eagles do the same thing. But the Lions and the Rams, and I think the Lions have done a better job of this. They are who they are, and you all know, everybody knows who they are, right? Like, and I think that when you look at like Tate Ratledge and Hassanin and even a Dan Jackson, who walked down at Georgia and just a grinder and everybody loves him, like those are Lions. Those are perfect fits for everything that they're about. Like they talk so much about every year, during the trade deadline or in free agency, when they're careful about bringing people in that they don't know. And Campbell has said this before too, like if you can get by with maybe one, maybe two, like dopes in your room, but not that's it. And the rest of the room has to be like rock solid, and everybody has to be, about it and exactly what they're trying to do. And I really do think that a lot of NFL teams have gotten away from that over the years, and the Lions have been one in recent years that got back to it. So I don't think that anybody's really done it better. I think the only other one that I can think of would be the Rams, but like
now that they have picks
across the board, it's just like it's all guys that that would fit with what they're doing here.
Yeah, hearing the quote about from Hassanin that he would die on the field.
Like,
that's it.
Let's maybe hope it doesn't come to that, my man. But that's about the attitude that you want, right? So yeah, it's perfect.
Do you have one, Vanessa?
Oh yeah. Well, I love talking about my Lions. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this shouldn't be a surprise. And I really wanted to talk about Shador. Man, he's got all that media around him right now. But the most surprising thing about this is, he went to the Browns, and I remember Myles Garrett saying something when he went over that whole Super Bowl, like, I want to go play for a championship team, blah, blah, blah. And then he got his contract back with the Browns.
Right.
He got what he wanted. But at that time, he said he also wanted to stay with the Browns because they had a QB strategy. They had a quarterback strategy, right? And he actually used the words, a clear quarterback strategy. And I'm like, okay, maybe. Right?
Would it be really bad?
It was a little bit. It was a little bit before. It was before the draft and all this stuff. And then we get there and we're like, okay, they're keeping Deshaun Watson.
Do you know, was that before or after they got Kenny Pickett? I
have to go check, but that's a good question because I'm like, okay, you're keeping Deshaun. You just traded for Kenny Pickett. You just signed Joe Flacco. And then you picked up Dylan and Gabriel. Yeah. And then Deshaun Sanders or Shador Sanders. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? That is as clear as quantum physics. So I'm like, how are they going to do this? Right. And Shador, who thinks he's the next Tom Brady, franchise quarterback, whatever. I don't know that he has the humility to climb a depth chart. And then when his dad is in his ear saying, if this is like a couple years ago, hey, if I ever got, I went to the Browns, I would put Eli Manning and peace out. And I'm like, what is going on? Right. So I don't know. I'm so happy you're on the line because I was like, we got to get a piece of Nick's mind on this because this is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, all the things you said at the end there are part of the reason why he fell as far as he did too. Like the attitude, his dad, the fact that he's never had to compete for a job ever. Like Deion was his high school coordinator. He was his college head coach. Before he went to Colorado, he'd already been anointed the guy. Like nobody, you can't think of, like I saw so many people that were like, this is exactly like what Archie Manning did with the Manning brothers. And I'm like, no. Peyton Manning was a third-string quarterback at Tennessee. Eli redshirted. Like, these guys actually did have to do something, and that's just not what this was. It was like a retconning of his career. It almost felt
Hall of Famers. Like,
like it almost felt like a political campaign more than it did draft prep when they were going up to it. And it was just like, I said this a bunch to people. I was like, this is not the NBA, or no offense to people in the NBA, but this doesn't work here. in the NFL, especially if you're a quarterback. So the biggest factor in the whole thing is the league, at the end of the day, deemed Shedeur, based on just talent alone, as a backup quarterback with some upside to maybe project into being a starter, which is fine. But the reason why he fell even further is you take that into it, with the fact that he's never actually had to compete, with the fact that you don't even know if he can, with the fact that he didn't interview well with just about everybody, and all that was more or less just being so overconfident and nonchalant about everything. And, you know, you get all those on top of it and then say, oh, yeah, by the way, his dad's Dion. Dion called Shedeur's cell phone during one of his first meetings with the Giants. Like, he called him while it was happening. And he said that. I was there when he said that. It was at the Shrine Bowl, and he was like, yeah, he called. And we were like, whoa. Like, what? And he's like, yeah, it wasn't a big deal. I'm like, not a big deal. I'm like, they probably wrote you off the board, man. Like, this is not going to work for teams that don't.
That was his quiet way of going, I don't want him to go there. Maybe I'll make him undraftable by that team. But, like, that's a wild strategy.
He got picked up really, really historically late in the draft. That's the same thing that happened to Tom Brady. But they are two completely different men. And the way they coach and the way they see the quarterback role is completely different, too. I mean, even with what Tom Brady's doing right now with his son, Jack, his second boy. You know, and how he kind of wants to skip that whole NIL crap in college. Because you know how Tom feels about the NIL and all that. It's not that he's not donating money and doing things, but it's kind of a crapshoot once you get to college now. And I think he's trying to get Jack into like a different position and go, you know, almost like a red shirt in the NFL when he's like 18 or 19 and then play him when he's 22, 23. You know, so there's all kind of things happening with these quarterback dads, if you will, and how they're raising their boys. And Dion just picked the strategy of, well, I'll coach you wherever you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, the whole competitive landscape at the Browns right now is something really interesting to watch, even though it's not my favorite team.
Well, that's 100%. And as much as the weird thing is with Shedeur, it's almost weirder for me for the Browns. I mean, real quickly, me and Eric talked earlier about the difference between Shedeur versus Cam Ward, where it's like kind of that humility, stick around, bet on yourself.
I can't believe anybody was even entertaining the idea that Shedeur would be taken over, you know, Cam, who
no one in the league was. No one in the league.
Exactly.
He just has it. Like, you could see it. Like with Shedeur, you're talking about, well, he was really accurate, and that's nice. And then I see people putting out highlights about the
it's
Hail
all
Mary from
throwing to
Baylor,
the
and I'm
number
just
2
like, that's not a
overall
highlight.
Heisman Trophy winner. And it's
there have been so many clips that have come out because Cam and Shedeur worked out together a lot, and the juxtaposition between how they view themselves and what they're trying to do is like alarming.
So
alarming.
Cam's not flashy. He doesn't do the flashy suit. He doesn't have the girlfriend on his arm. He doesn't do that. He is 100%. I do football. That's what I do.
I kind of wish he was.
Your boy.
Nick, I wanted to ask, have you ever seen a prospect that was rated so highly by almost every draft expert, if not to go number 2 overall, to at least beat the second quarterback in the draft, to then have the drop that he had? Is there another precedent for a guy like
Gino
this?
dropped to like the end of the first round when he was really highly rated.
He went to the second, I think.
It was the second round.
Aaron Rodgers dropped to 24.
Yeah.
The
only other
round
one that I ever think of that came close was Brady Quinn, when people had him really high. Like, but in this case, I would actually, you know, the people who really pay attention to this, like, I did not have him going that high. I never did one time. It was always at the bottom of the first or the second. Like, that's after that, it became something completely like, whoa, this is something I did not expect him to be there in the third, fourth, or fifth. Like, and then when we got to the 5th round, I was like, is he going to get picked at all? Or is he just going to go undrafted here? So it was very strange.
They would have taken him by now. If it's off-field stuff, he might not get drafted at all.
Did you guys see the clip of Delaney Walker predicting the 5th round pick for Shedeur? He was He was on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast with Will Compton and however you view that podcast, but Taylor Lewan, so obviously Michigan connection there, and Will Compton, and they made $1,000 bet on the air between each other. He said he's not going to get picked in the 1st or 2nd round. In fact, I think he's going to fall to the 5th. This was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, he
the first time I'd ever seen it.
That guy had some intel.
He said he had heard from some people that were still playing. And
now, yes, there was definitely a rally of people that just dropped him, and that was like the Raiders, for example. Like, Tom Brady's involved with them. A lot of people connected him to the Raiders. And all I'd heard leading up to it was like, no, it did not go well in those meetings, and they don't even have him on the board. So, like, a lot of teams were like that for sure.
So then, as for the Browns, I mean, you have Dylan Gabriel, and you have so many quarterbacks now. I mean,
5.
That's why it's so
college team,
watch, right?
I mean,
3 right now that are currently under contract.
The Kenny
right now.
Pickett one is the one that confuses me the most. But aside from that, between Dylan Gabriel and Shador, do they just? I'm assuming they try and play. I'm assuming they try at least for preseason to play all of them. I'm assuming they have Kenny Pickett, Shador, and Dylan Gabriel. They all get one preseason game.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's the problem.
I think is right now the default starter.
We've seen enough from him.
Well, you are getting
But
above
these guys are chomping at the bit, and you've got Deshaun and Flacco.
Deshaun.
He ruptured his Achilles.
He's a
his Achilles is busted, so he's not playing.
It's not like the Browns haven't dealt with quarterbacks with off-field issues. So like maybe Shador's not that big of a red flag for them, but take the focus somewhere else. But I'm wondering, aside from Flacco probably being the default starter, I'm trying to even think about their system because they're just focused so much on defense. It's Shador doesn't.
I don't know what they're doing here because the Gabriel pick made no sense to me at all. Like that, he is not a better player than Shador Sanders. I don't care about all the off. I don't know how many. I think he's a good kid. He plays hard. He was a winner and all that stuff. But he's 5'11" on his tiptoes and cleats. He does not have a good arm. If you put him just out there in 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 with an NFL team in training camp, it's not going to work. I just don't see it happening there. So I almost wonder if they drafted him to make Shador mad, to be like, hey, come in here and play hard.
Hilarious.
We took this kid in front of you, which is like, okay, I don't know. To me, at the end of the day, I do think Shador is going to get a chance there because I think he's better than Gabriel. I think he and Kenny Pickett. I think he and Kenny Pickett are very similar, actually. I think that a lot of Shador's strengths are the same as what Kenny Pickett had coming out, and a lot of his weaknesses are also the same. So, frankly, I would think that he would get it over Pickett, probably because he's younger. But the hard part is you don't even have reps in practice to get a look at all 5 of those guys, really. I mean,
it's a quarterback goat rodeo.
It's crazy.
It really is.
It's crazy. Nobody else does that.
Off-field tensions aren't going to be nice.
No.
Right? And you're hoping that they take all those off-field tensions and channel them on the field, but
that's not the mentality.
Exactly. That's my point. You would hope, but it's not going to happen.
That is one thing about Dylan. I think has a much better mentality, even if he's small and may not have the arm strength.
I think that's why they picked him over Shador, right?
Purely for mentality. It's like the one upside they're saying is like he's a very smart quarterback, even if he's not big enough or has the arm strength. It's like, all right, are you trying?
Yeah.
Drafting, someone out of college to be the calming presence in the quarterback room is
2 of them are going to get cut. Like that'd be my prediction. 2 of them are going to get cut. You can't keep all 5 and you can't stash them all. So 2 of them are going to get cut. And that's just the reality of it.
But Nick, let's bring it back local a little bit and talk about another young man who slid, Will Johnson, once billed as maybe a top 5, top 10 pick, goes at the top half of the top third of the second round. Injuries, he didn't. You just the age of college football today. You wonder like how hurt was he really? Could he have played? Should he have played? Should he have been out there? And now apparently there was some real concerns. His physical, maybe didn't go as well as he had hoped. But he's kind of being billed as maybe the steal of the draft because if he's as good as he can be, he might be the best corner in the whole draft.
Oh, absolutely. I think
is he the steal of the draft? And did the Cardinals get a good one here at the like I said, second day?
Yeah, I think that he's close to it if he's not that guy, because frankly, I don't know if I buy all of the, we're so worried about his knee being degenerative and all that as much as it was. They have questions about Will's speed, and he never got to run, and he didn't want to run, and all that sort of stuff too. And I think that factored in as well. I think there were questions at the end of the year about could he have played against Ohio State. I heard a lot of people at the time that were like, we're not happy with that. Like they wanted to see him against Ohio State. Loveland obviously had the concussion, and people brush that off and move on with it, but that wasn't the case with Will. So I think there was a lot of stuff going on there. Fair or not, I don't know. And sometimes guys get bad advice about not being try to be cagey with it, and that's what Will kind of did, and I don't think that helped him either. But I think that I heard on his media call he was salty and he was ready to roll. So that's probably going to be good. I think Will's a really good player. I think when he's healthy, he was a top 10, 15 player in this class. And I think we all knew that he would fall in the first round, but I didn't think it would be that far. But also it's one of those things where there was not a lot of teams this year that we got to get a corner. There wasn't a lot of cornerback needy teams. So I think he could absolutely end up being like the Brian Branch type guy of this draft, where we're looking at it in the middle of the season being like, how in the hell did he go near the 50s? You know what I mean? When you watch his 2023 tape, He was a absolute star, an All-American, the best on-ball corner outside of Travis Hunter in college football. So
he was the defensive MVP of the national championship team. I mean, I think he didn't play his senior year, and he was maybe playing up his injury a little bit to preserve himself for the NFL because he knew.
And people don't like that.
Go.
And if that was part of it, then that's part of why he
slid.
Knew
Michigan wasn't going to have another championship team. I mean, they were going to be okay, but we lost half our coaching staff. We got all of our starters went to the NFL. He stayed behind because he had to for eligibility purposes. He had to play his third year. I think he was preserving himself, and so I think that kind of turned into this mysterious thing of like, how injured is he? What is he doing?
Yeah, I think that probably factored in to why he slid. But I think if he shows up and he's healthy and ready to go, I think he's going to be a steal for them. I
had him going to the Cardinals, so it worked out in my draft.
You just had him around early. That's all.
Not exactly.
I had Kenny G going real high too, and Colson, if you remember. We did mock draft.
That's very true.
And then I had Will going Cardinals, so I was like, I think I did pretty good.
You're pretty spot on with it. We've got Nick Baumgartner from The Athletic. Nick, you mentioned him a little bit ago, and to me, I thought it was a bit of a head scratcher when Colston got picked up at number 10 by the Bears, considering you have a very reliable tight end in Cole Kmet on their roster. They've got a lot of weapons, but is this a bit of a slide by Ben Johnson to go after, to kind of go by the way? Because a lot of people are comparing Colston Loveland to maybe as of right now, a greener version of Sam Laporta, but is this also a way to slime Michigan fans to hate him even more by taking a Michigan player at that number 10 spot?
I thought that was an awesome pick, actually. And, I think I talked to Jamie and you guys a couple of weeks ago about, don't be surprised if Loveland goes in front of Tyler Warren, because that was a lot of talk over the last several weeks leading up to the draft, that was a much closer evaluation than people realized. But the fit there is perfect because that is what Colston, he's like a tall Sam Laporta, a 2 inches taller version of Sam in terms of all the things that you can do with him. You can move him all over the field. You can line up as your X, line up in the slot, on the line. You can put him in the backfield as a fullback, for crying out loud, all that stuff. He's a willing blocker, and he was the absolute best route running, pass catching tight end in this class. And I think that the way that Ben Johnson runs offense is they already have Cole Kmet there too. They run so much 2 tight end stuff that I feel like they're going to use Loveland exactly how he used Laporta here in Detroit. And I actually think it was a better fit for Tyler Warren to go to the Colts. I think that was a better fit there for him too. But I thought that was a really, really good pick. And, Loveland's been the guy on Michigan's team for a couple years now that you talk to scouts and stuff, and they've all been like, this guy is going to be very, very good in the NFL. He is built for the modern game. To me, it was he was a hybrid combination of Mark Andrews and Laporta. That's what he reminds me of, and I think that he's going to be a really, really good player. And that was a great fit, for Caleb Williams and all those guys on that offense. I think the Bears had a good draft too, but Loveland was a really, really good pick.
As Lions fans, most of us, I think, it sucks because I think he's
not a
good.
Not
he's
good.
It's
like, I wish the Lions would get him. We have Laporta though, and we're not a 2 tight end offense. We're just not.
This is the iron sharpens iron Jamie Morris way, right? So if the Bears are good, they're going to give the Lions a run for their money, which is going to make us play harder, and hopefully we do better. So I try to be positive.
This is Ben Johnson's villain era that we're
revenge tour
right now. Yeah, this is his revenge tour. Is basically we're getting at right now.
Always Detroit for sure.
He's done a good job. He's got them to make some good additions.
Bold statement time from Nick maybe here. I don't think that Loveland he's not the blocker that Laporta is. Do you think he's a better athlete out in the open field, pass catcher, route runner?
I don't know about that. I mean, Laporta is really Laporta. I always say his bones are made of adamantium, the stuff that they put in Wolverine. Laporta is just a freaky guy in a way that Travis Kelce kind of is. But I do think Colston is pretty close to that conversation, and I think once he gets going, that's what he's going to be. I just think he's going to be a phenomenal player. And you also got Bowers in there now. The tight end position in the NFL is, that positional value chart's got to catch up because that's an important deal for anybody who wants to score points and run the ball and have a passing presence. You have to have a pretty awesome tight end, and the Bears definitely got one. Loveland's going to be very good.
Nick, one last question before we let you go, and we know that you're an NFL guy, draft analyst and Detroit Lions beat writer. We got to talk about what happened down at LCA last yesterday afternoon. What the hell was that? Why,
it was terrible.
Yeah. What? I mean,
I set out when it happened that
is there any league that's not not called a foul?
Well, if Jalen Brunson was doing it, I think it would have been
true,
called.
yeah.
But like,
Tell me
he
about
gets
it.
that call 10 times out of 10. I just
man.
that whole series has been refereed pretty poorly, inconsistently, and that one there is just is an egregious example. There, I felt bad for all of them. Really, you could see Tim was furious when he talked to the reporters there after the game, but. That's a bummer.
Agreed.
There's nothing you can do about it now, though. Yeah, they agreed.
They made a bad
backed off
call.
on it. Yeah,
Cade missed the wide open. He got the
that one was a sting because
that was
I almost felt like he shot too early too. Like I would have liked to see him maybe get a little bit more value out of that. But yeah.
It's
well,
so
you
weird
give yourself a
call.
chance to at least get an offensive rebound, like they
and they did. Yeah,
have another
so
chance.
you can see that for sure.
You're still gonna have to extend the game out if you miss that shot.
It's such a bummer all the way around. That's probably a shot Cade knocks down 8 out of 10 times
All the time.
anyway.
He's a mid-range assassin.
And then he didn't. And then
a shot that Tim makes if he doesn't get mugged.
Yes,
probably.
Time for the ball to just roll out. Like I've never even seen that before. There was such a scrum, and
It's
then
in
it just
slow motion.
It
You're
just
just going
rolls right to Timmy. And
I think a lot of people were waiting for that ball to, that play to get whistled dead when it was loose under the basket. But lo and behold, the second effort thought of referees saying that they should have called a foul. All it does.
The game was weird. There were stretches where they were mugging each other, both ends, and then there'd be a little hand checky. It was very strange.
Very physical series, and I don't think those refs are used to that anymore in the NBA. So I think that's been part of it. Yeah.
I'm so sick of these end of the game reports from these officials. The 2-minute report, just keep it. I don't need it.
All it does is just makes fans bitter.
It makes me crazy, man.
Hey, look though,
if
that happened in the NFL, they'd have acted like it was the right call till their grave. They never in the NFL. They had the same thing. The pool
you don't
reports.
see refs just like
they
own
never
those
back
mistakes.
off on it.
It feels like in any sport, to be honest. Like even in the NBA, I don't see him that often.
If we can have the report ready 30 seconds after the game that you missed the call, then you might as well just go ahead and review it then, I guess.
Yeah.
Nope, can't review a no call. Yeah. JB blew his challenge early in the game. They wouldn't have been able to challenge it anyway. So
what
are you going to do?
It's the whole coulda, woulda, shoulda mentality. And, again, you just
petition to remove all zebras from the Detroit Zoo.
Either way, the Knicks decided that they wanted to, create a roster that can't get past the second round and pay a bunch of money for it. So you know what?
Yeah.
We'll be all right in a couple years, man. J.I. comes back. We're cool.
Yep.
Either way, that could have screwed the whole series, though. I mean,
it did.
Truly, because the likelihood that Game 4, where the Knicks could take it, played at home, that we're going to win it, is lesser. Obviously, I'm not to say something negative, but let's be real, right? So that ref, man.
Look, get out of here with that measured take.
This is all house money.
This is like some back room in Vegas. There was a Maloof brother sitting there, and he made a phone call, and he's like, "We can't let those Knicks go down."
Look, it's all house money. Pistons had a great season, man. I've been having so much fun.
Turn around to the
I've been having
century.
so much fun, man.
Absolutely.
They'll be back for sure.
I just went out and did yard work. I just it was a nice day out. I was like, time to go touch some grass.
You pulled a John U. Bacon. Nick, they appreciate you giving us enough time to grace us following the NFL draft. We'll see if we'll talk with you next week when Jamie comes back. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve when he comes back. Maybe
bring some presents from Hawaii there for crying out loud.
That's what I'm saying. He better bring it back.
A little high chew.
Yeah, something.
I know they're getting more to the States now, but those high chews are pretty good.
Needs something. I don't know, man. You got to hook us up with something. But Nick, again, appreciate you coming on with us, and we hope to talk with you next week, and maybe we'll talk about look at the preseason and no, because in a couple of weeks the schedule comes out on the 15th. So we got a couple of weeks before the schedule comes out. Maybe we'll chop up about the schedule when it comes out here in a couple of weeks at the very least.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
It's Nick Baumgartner from The Athletic. Give him a follow on Twitter at Nick Baumgartner. And before we hit the break, it is getting warmer out there for people. You're getting out in the yard, doing some yard work. But you got to make sure that the inside of the house is taken care of. That's where our friends at Honorable Pest Control come in. Sign up for Honorable Pest Control subscription plan before March the 1st. Well, we're already at that point now. We're already past that. Apparently, you get this script updated. But you get 75% off your first treatment. But still sign up for their annual monthly subscription program. If you got roaches, bed bugs, mice, doesn't matter. Honorable Pest Control has you covered, and now they're making it better for you with the referral program. Refer a friend or family member anywhere in Washtenaw County. When they are booking a treatment, you get $100 off your next visit. Plus, your referral gets $25 off of their first service. Keep referring, and you can enjoy pest-free living for free. Call Honorable Pest Control today and start saving while we can handle the pests. HonorablePestControl.com, your trusted partner in pest-free living. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're either going to talk some gritty Tigers, or we're going to talk about the debacle in Detroit. We'll figure it out when we come back on the other side. You're listening to the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA and online at thebig1050.com.
Cunningham driving, pull-up jumper, no good. Harris battling, loose ball on the floor, picked up Hardaway 2 seconds
You guys saw it.
This is the M Zone.
We're back here on the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA online at the big1050.com. We're also streaming on our social media as Brandon is vibing till we got 5 on it. Got a vibe to it. You gotta have some vibe. And obviously people watching on stream are like, I can't hear anything from Brandon because we're not allowed to play the music over stream. Because,
well, then I just looked like an idiot.
Well, I mean, people can listen to the podcast and they can put one and one together.
All right.
Know. But we're back here on the M Zone. Matt Missler in for Jamie Morris, who is on vacation this week. Brandon Brown, Vanessa Pawlak, our MVP. Booby Toothington the third. And E Boogie on the ones and twos. And we got to talk about what happened on LCA yesterday afternoon. First off, I mean, let's point out first that the weather yesterday was outstanding. So if you were at the Tiger game, we're going to talk some Tigers a little later on here. Those gritty Tigers are just red hot right now. But it's the fact that the Pistons have, forget the fact that they've turned their season around. Because I don't think anyone was expecting the Pistons to be in a playoff spot this year. You can only get better than 14 wins from last year. But you can get worse. It's very difficult to do so.
That's very hard.
But the way that this team was kind of built up in the off season, you kind of figured that this team was going to be a little bit better.
Play in at least.
Maybe. Like at least on the verge of a play-in spot. But no one was expecting a definitive locked-in playoff spot for the Pistons.
Yeah, I think play-in was ceiling. People like that's as good as this team's going to be. I mean, Miz, you mentioned it, the 14 wins, first team in NBA history to triple their win total from one season to the next. They won 44, actually, I believe.
Non-strike shortened seasons.
Non-strike shortened season. So yeah, kind of an unprecedented turnaround. New coaching staff, Bickerstaff, changed the culture in a major way. Monty Williams he was a ghost, and everybody kind of knew that from the beginning. And then you bring in a couple veteran presence guys like Tobias Harris, like Malik Beasley, and not just veteran presence who are going to be a presence in the locker room and teach guys how to be pros and do the right thing, but they're contributing. I mean, Malik Beasley, if not for Anthony Edwards chasing stats at the end of the season, would have led the NBA in three-pointers made as a non-starter, which is incredible. I know he started, here and there, but they added just the right kind of pieces to come in. Cade flourishing, taking a big step, and really getting contributions from guys that you might not have expected. I mean, Ron Holland is now, firmly in the rotation, and there was some discussion about whether he was even going to be on the everyday roster, when he was drafted. He's a G League guy maybe, or we'll see what he looks like. And then you add a guy like Dennis Schroeder, another veteran presence who's not just a veteran, but is making plays, making big shots, defending the other team's best guard. It's been kind of a perfect storm. And I know it's only the 6th seed, but like you said, Miz, this wasn't in the plans.
No.
And so to be here already right now, maybe one other superstar player away, or at least another, a Robin to Cade's Batman.
Perhaps a Jaden Ivey.
Maybe it's Jaden Ivey. Maybe it's Devin Booker. I know his name has been thrown around a lot. Phoenix is crumbling. He's a Michigan guy.
Yeah.
I even heard somebody talking about Giannis the other day, which is insane.
That was another one. I've for some reason I've heard that one in the rumor mill too. But again, rumor mill is is as good as
we think. Giannis is going to want out of Milwaukee, and he's going to want to go to the Pistons.
That's probably where the dream dies.
Sounds like
maybe
he
Giannis
wants to go big
brother,
city,
but not Giannis himself.
Thanasis.
Thanasis, perhaps. Yeah, we can get Thanasis.
But yeah, just all in all, it's probably coming to an end, which blows.
Yeah.
But as Vanessa said, like that non-call completely changed the series.
Yeah,
completely changed the series. Instead of being 2-2, going back to the Garden where you've already won a game, now they're down 3-1, and it's still a young team. And you see them throughout the course of every game. They do some dumb stuff where you're like, why did they do that? Oh, because you're 20 and you've never played on this stage before. It happens a lot.
I'll give you one.
Yeah, it happens a lot, man. So, the turnovers need to cut down. Cade even is, for all the phenomenal things he's done, and his name's being mentioned in that game. I'm sure you guys saw it. the first player to do this since Oscar Robertson and Wilt Chamberlain. Like if you're mentioned with those dudes,
you're doing all
right.
right.
I think he's the first guard ever to put up 25, 10, 10, and 4 blocks.
Yeah, well. Unreal, man.
Huge,
he's stuffing the stat sheet, but he has the ball a ton and he still turns it over too much. And he'll get better at that, and so will the other guys. And you got to be happy about where things are.
But it kind of reminds me of what the Wolverines did with Dusty May, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
they turned it around.
Yeah,
they almost
absolutely.
tripled their win rate from the season prior.
And they have the similar flaws as well. Where it's
too many
just like,
turnovers.
Turnovers.
It's just a
was
lot of
biggest
turnovers.
issue
They're not a great 3-point shooting team outside of Malik. Even Cade is like hovering around 35%, which is fine. I think that's pretty. He had better stretches of the season where he was shooting over 40, but outside of Malik Beasley, you're not a great. Where you make your money is going in transition, getting as many possessions as possible. They were one of the best transition teams in the league, so I really think that Michigan and Detroit Pistons synergy this year has been it's been there. It's definitely been there.
I absolutely agree with you. And if you think about it, we had a show, I think, was it last week? And we were talking about who are the celebrities that are going to show up. There was so much attention on this game, and they were zeroing in on with the cameras, all the different celebrities, whether they were New York fans like Ben Stiller and that, or you saw all the former Pistons showing up. And, that was really cool to see. You don't get to see that often in Detroit. We're kind of more of a business automotive city. We're not like this high celebrity. And they were all there, so you can tell the interest is coming back. I'm hoping that builds more and more momentum, and next season is going to be even better than this season. I mean, like Brandon said, nobody expected this. So, or Ms., you said the same thing, like to get to the playoffs, that's huge. So I'm excited. But
I know Spike Lee was in the building because my mom and dad yelled at him about 8 times while the game was on.
Well, I mean, all you had to do is you could tell that he was there because he was jumping around. Honestly, you thought at some point like he was going to actually jump on the court and play the role of Jalen Brunson at some point.
No, it's really cool how the Knicks, they love celebrating after every made basket for a team that's won absolutely nothing. It's really cool.
Yeah, you haven't won a title since any of us are probably.
They are a hard team to like.
I think it's more the fan base is the thing that you don't like.
It's not just the fan base though. It's because their best player is dropping on the deck and flopping like a fish.
Yeah,
it's really tough to root for that.
He is SpongeBobbing up.
It's really tough to root for that. It's tough. And then Karl Anthony Towns, like, I think.
Oh my God!
In general, like,
I'm sure people have seen that. If not, take a look. Google it. Well, yeah, they've got some good.
Josh Hart is not necessarily a likable guy. I would say he plays hard, but
you love a dude like Josh Hart if he's on your team.
Yeah,
he's
gonna play 48 minutes.
You don't like him for other reasons. He's not flopping and being a diva, but he makes you mad a lot.
Yeah, exactly. He makes you upset. And then Karl, I'm gonna say, man. Karl, he got a lot of criticism a lot early in his career, especially for being soft or whatever. That dude is not soft, and he hits some shots that you just kind of have to hand it to him. Like, if you're just gonna hit baseline jumpers like over the backboard with a guy with a hand in your face, like what am I supposed to do with that? Be mad? Like that's it. That's all I can do.
Cat and Brunson. I mean,
shot makers.
You hate them, but
shot makers.
They made some incredibly tough shots in the fourth quarter. Brunson was again the theatrics with the ankle thing. He was fine. He comes back and he was fine.
That's cool.
But whether he was playing at 80% or 100%, the shots he was making were incredible. Bigger defenders on him, longer guys on him, going left, going right, mid-range float. It doesn't matter. They were making everything they were shooting, and that's hard to defend. That's hard to win against.
And I mean, we talked about. I mean, Vanessa mentioned it that there's a lot of similarities between the Pistons game, at least the past couple, that Michigan basketball has kind of seen, and it's the turnovers itself.
Yeah,
they had 9 in the first, 9 early on in the first half.
Yeah, that first half offense was PU.
The announcers kept citing that they had more turnovers than field goals, which is not
I was surprised they had as many field goal makes as they did. I was like, they have 7 field goal makes. I'm like, damn, all right.
Like I saw Anthony Bellino, he put the tweet out. Who's on our show after us, Sports Trap, which of course you can hear right here on the Big 1050 from 6 until 7, originating from the Golden Tower of WJR. But I mean, I saw the tweet that he put out about 9 turnovers in the game, and like at that point, you think, because I wasn't watching him, I was paying attention to the Tiger game. I'm a hockey nut, so I'm watching playoff hockey, even though my team's not in it. I still. Hockey will run
Straight
through
in.
my vein, okay? Ice flows through it, okay? And I'm not shooting threes, lights out. That's just how my brain is wired. I love
As they
hockey.
say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Thank you very much,
Let's do that
Laszlo.
hockey.
Appreciate that. but when you see, when you see other sports people that are watching this game and they're saying 9 turnovers and this early in the first half, you're thinking the Pistons are going to get boat run out of their own arena. And it started to be that way in game 3. They found a way to claw back. They only lost by 3 points, I think, in the game. Because they
2.
I think it was 2.
by
Yeah.
2. So I
got to see that one in person. That
You
was
did.
That was a lot of fun.
I was looking for it in the stands. That was the
I was
only game
way
I
up
watched
there,
start
man.
to
You weren't going to
finish.
see me nowhere.
I was
I was
gonna
in section 212 all the way in the back because there ain't nobody behind us.
Did you
Pretty
and
nice.
did you and the missus take a Sherpa up? By the way,
No, we
To
walk
get
up there
top
by our
second.
damn selves.
Okay, because I know
Frozen
how-
bodies
And by the
along
way,
way.
we wore the white shirt for the whiteout.
Mhm.
Shout out to all y'all who didn't. And we stayed the entire time. Shout out to all y'all who left, even though they still had a chance in that game. First playoff game in 6 years, and you left early. You are, in fact, a loser if you did that.
And honestly,
You are
yeah.
a loser.
Watching, like I said, watching the tail end of the game, because again, flipping back and forth between different things, plus having to wake up early the following morning to do morning radio on the country station. Like sometimes I don't get a chance to watch the games that are late.
It's true.
But to me, it almost felt like that Michigan State game that was over at Chrysler, that big top 20, top 15 matchup that the Wolverines and Spartans had, where there's still just under 2 minutes left in the second half. And Michigan, I think, was only down by 6 at that point.
Mhm.
And I think there was a missed bucket, and Michigan State gets the rebound. And at that point, you can almost hear the everyone collectively standing up to leave. I'm like, where are you going? There's still a minute and 40 some seconds. It's still a 6-point game. Why are you getting up? Sit your ass back down. Sit down.
That one inbound play right at the end there was really bumming me out. I guess that's not when you were there. That was the game.
Yeah, that was
game 3.
That was game 3.
That was game 3. Okay, so the funny thing about game 3 is that we should have never had the inbound, but for some reason after that, Brunson misses on purpose that free throw, the shot clock malfunctioned. Thank you, shot clock operator.
I
Thank
texted you for that. Where is our extra second?
No, well, either way, we got gifted an extra possession
That's
there. That
true.
should have been the end of the game. The ball
True.
should have landed in someone's hand,
And
and
then
0.5 seconds goes off, and then it's over. I wasn't that upset about the outcome of that game. Honestly, I would have rather been in the building for game 3 than what happened in game 4, because that would have pissed me off.
As a guy
I
who
would have
worked-
been even more upset
Can
that's how the outcome of the game
Can I
went.
throw a debatable topic out there about
I
this?
love a debatable
This
topic.
game 4.
Never.
So, okay. I personally hate when the refs put their fingerprints all over a game. And I realize by not calling that, they're kind of doing that also.
Nice ref show. Yeah.
But I think a lot of times most people, and of course, if you're a Pistons fan, you hate it and you're not, maybe won't even bring yourself to say the words. They don't want to see the refs make a call at the end of a game like that. A lot of times you hear swallow the whistle, let the players figure it out, make a play.
Let them players play.
But in that case, it was so there's the debate. Where do you fall on this? Because it was so clearly a foul, but it was a physical game, almost the whole thing. I mean, there were a lot of calls that I thought should have been made both directions that didn't get called. Yeah. And then at the very end, he's shooting three free throws to make 2 to win the game with no time on the clock.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think any of them are prepared. This is a Knicks Pistons game. Those are the two most aggressive cities,
they might not be
aggressive
ready.
teams. And I don't think any of these refs were like, oh my God, this
It's
is
about
the
to get
big
really
boy
scrappy.
league.
Yeah,
But I guess that's
I
where
don't think they were ready.
Where the debate is in my head. Would you
I'm not
rather
giving
the
them an
refs?
excuse. I'm not giving them an excuse. I think it was a blown call.
It was a blown call. They admitted it.
Yeah,
the league has admitted so.
Right?
But would you rather the
But I
refs
don't think
chill
in general.
and let it play out, or do you have to make
these
that?
refs are modern era, soft boys era
Yeah, there's a lot of
basketball.
that.
They are not the refs from the 90s that were calling every foul left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Play on. He punched him in the face. I said what I said.
The thing is, I mean, it is a very debatable topic, and it is a double-edged sword, especially when you look back at game 1, where what was it? Schroeder is guarding Brunson, and you just see him literally go into him and then flop backwards, and they call a foul on Schroeder. I'm like,
a lot of questionable calls on Asar Thompson this series that I really hated.
That's exactly what I was thinking in game 3.
They hate that man.
When,
they
the
hate Asar
man,
Thompson so much.
The pick man would push him into the guy with the ball, and then they would call it on Thompson. They're like, he was clearly hip checked into the guy with the ball.
Well, the one that Brunson grabs his arm, he's dragging him down the floor, and
that
it's
was bad
still
too.
a call on Asar. Asar Thompson cannot get a break this series, and he's been rough offensively. But honestly, I was kind of disappointed yesterday that they didn't have him in at all to play defense in the fourth quarter.
And
when Jalen Brunson is cooking you, you must plus your. But Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley are not guarding anybody.
We've seen Schroeder do the head fake jump in. Like it's a part of the game.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but dude,
But there's a balance. There's a balance with the theatrics.
Yeah.
You know, like LeBron is overboard. He should be in Hollywood. And then you get guys that are just like, well,
he was in a movie.
Good one.
Yeah, I mean,
not a good
Don
one.
Cheadle disagrees. Regardless,
it's just there's a balance.
Look, people talk crap about soccer for this reason.
The flopping.
There's been an increased emphasis, though. The last couple of years, there's been an increased emphasis by officials to call fouls on jump shots because people are in your jump. You know, when you land, you're not allowed to like be in that person's landing space.
That's why now it's just the defense just put their hand in the face, and that's
he's all up in it. Like he can't be further in his shooting space. Like it couldn't be further from that. I will say this as a Pistons fan, if if it was the other way, I'd be excited about winning the game. And if I was a Knicks fan, I'd be excited about
treating
whatever.
Like the NFL, where the last 2 minutes you review everything.
I care
what's
about
going to be
results.
really
That's what I care
interesting
about.
to watch because you see when these refs make a bad call and they kind of know what they did and they're like, oh my God, that
They
just
had to
changed
rush
the
them off the
outcome
floor.
of the whole game, right? Well, not only do they need their own security guards when they leave the arena, but sometimes they actually make up for it with another bad call against the
They love
other.
doing that during the game.
So
They
I'm
love doing that
waiting.
during the game.
I know, and I'm waiting to see what happens at Madison Square Garden to see if they're going to go a little easier on the Pistons and a little tougher on the Knicks, but it's not really likely. I mean,
LCA on Thursday?
Well, I'm just.
Are we going to make it to Thursday?
I don't know.
Are we going to make it to Thursday? Because I'm not so sure we're going to make it.
Couple days later.
I want to see what happens at Madison Square Garden to see if there's any type of like lenience to make up for that complete debacle.
A couple days later, different venue, likely a different crew, right?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
This team is punching above their weight. The Pistons should not be in competition with the Knicks. They just shouldn't be. Like you have Karl Towns, you have Jalen Brunson. These guys are first team, second team, all NBA guys.
Mikal Bridges and Anunoby also getting paid more than everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Pistons have one guy that you're worried about.
That's
basically.
what makes
and then Uncle T.
Yeah. Because of that, I'll get over it when the series is over, regardless of what happens. But while it's happening, the fact that it's like during the game, it's like the refs feel like they're punching down at us. It's like we're already the underdog, and you're giving us, you're helping the.
I'd like to apologize.
I'd
like to apologize to my wife for what she had to hear during the game. I'd like to apologize sincerely to my wife.
Not safe for work and not safe for radio.
Not safe at all. No.
Here's my thing. And again, this is coming from a guy who is very hockey centric, but still watches and appreciates basketball. And this kind of goes with the late night game last night, Edmonton and LA up in Oil City. That it goes to overtime. And typically, like when you get late in a game, you typically swallow the whistle unless it's an egregious, very obvious call to make. And I understand I'm watching this on probably the size of the TV that's right above our head in the studio, not the big ass TV to the left of E-Boogie, but I can watch this game, see that the ball gets to Timmy Bucket's hands, makes the three, and I can see that the defender makes contact with him. How is a guy that is literally the distance between me and Bobby in studio watching this entire thing go down not see this happen?
He's looking right at it.
I understand. I've got high definition.
Right at him.
I know. I've got
tough.
high definition television. It's only 1080.
Oh, they saw it. They didn't call it.
Yeah.
That's all that it was.
Zero analysis.
Look, that team gave up an 11-point lead. Cade Cunningham got the shot that he wanted. Look, and then we got an offensive rebound. Honestly, that's more than you could expect from a last possession, considering that what happened the last couple of possessions.
The rebound gave me hope.
Miss, turnover, miss. So we're already we goofed it up in the fourth quarter. That's what young teams do. That's why they usually don't make it that far in the playoffs. And if we had gotten past the Knicks, guess what? We're running up against a buzzsaw that is the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
To me, this is all house money. I'm upset about it while it's happening. And then I'm like, oh my God, I got to watch meaningful basketball I got to be there live to see my team play meaningful basketball the year after they lost 28 straight games, and not a soul would want to talk to me about this team.
Yeah.
Not a soul was going to talk to
included.
me in November.
Yeah.
Not a
In the
soul was
studio,
even
we're
trying
like,
to talk to me in January.
You got 2 minutes
when
to talk
all I did
Pistons,
was
Eric.
bother everyone about this.
But how?
But now I get to talk about it. It's great.
But
And it
wouldn't
gets us excited because like
I
he can be
know.
pumped about a good team, and we're all of a sudden like, tell us everything. Like we want to give you the time to talk about
we're
this
missing
fun team.
Stu. We're missing Ivy and Stu. Hey, if Stu's in that
Stu
game.
is-
That
that's a
game
big
goes a
one.
lot
Yeah.
differently
Yeah.
because you know what? A Sark can defend, but he can't stay on the court. Isaiah Stewart stays on the court, and he was doing a good job on Cat in game 1, and then had to leave because I think he probably has knee problems that are not going to be solved in the next couple of days.
You're
He's
right
definitely
about
got a meniscus or something.
You're right about advancing and it probably not mattering in the grand scheme.
Yeah.
But it would be so fun
I know,
to
it would
knock
be
out
fun.
Brunson and Cat.
I know.
So
I
fun.
know.
They're
And
so
you-
punchable. Let's just knock
And
them
we
out
want
of
the data on these young
Yeah.
guys too. These young guys, Asar Thompson now knows exactly how teams are going to defend him in the playoffs going forward.
Mhm.
You are going to have to develop your game to be able to defend, play offense in a way that doesn't get you sent out of the game.
He
Because
scored
JB
8
Bickerstaff
points.
is tired
Yeah.
of you
Yeah.
kicking the ball off your foot and turning it over 4 times when you barely touch the ball. It's
Yeah.
just we can't afford stuff like that. So I don't know. We're Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley are about to beat the Knicks. Like that's where we're at, man. And JD, hey man, you're gonna need to get better. They're about to pay you.
Both
so.
former Knicks, by the way, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe
yeah.
so, yeah.
Did Beasley play for the Knicks?
I was just gonna check.
I know Timmy
Timmy
H
did. Yeah,
did.
Yeah.
I'll pull that up real
No,
quick.
I mean Tim Hardaway Jr. has been huge all series. In what world would a team that is getting huge contributions from Tim Hardaway Jr. be winning a playoff series in 2025?
My
So-
mistake.
That's crazy.
He has not played. I
Okay.
know what it was. He was teammates with Cat in Minnesota.
That's what it was. Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
them talking about
yeah.
them being teammates, and I was like, "Did he play for the Knicks?"
Hey
No, he
man,
was.
Giannis kind of stole Malik Beasley's swag when he did the shimmy on him a couple
Oh,
weeks
yeah.
ago. I mean, Beasley,
No.
it ain't been good. Other than game 1, he didn't really give you a whole lot. And that's what we're hoping for huge contributions from Malik Beasley, a guy that was a journeyman who signed for 1 year, $6 million.
I mean,
That's
it's-
crazy.
I mean, you think the same thing about Schroeder as well too. He's definitely been a
All
journeyman.
these
He's
guys.
He's found
all
a
these
great
guys.
home here. in
Shooter's been a
Detroit,
good
and-
player on a championship team. When he played with the Lakers, that dude could play defense. And
Yeah.
his shot was here and there, but that's a grown up that can play defense. So
Solid
I like
defenders are like they're becoming more and
especially
more
point of
rare.
attack
Yeah.
defenders because that's the hardest.
That's exactly what I was
position
going to
to
say.
guard.
100%.
That's the hardest position to guard is guys like Brunson.
Dude, those
Like
middle-
it's just
yeah,
hard to
the
stay in
full
front
court
of guys.
defenders. Awesome.
All
Give me
these
a guy.
guys
And he's
have
not
played
that big.
for
Yeah.
5-6 teams. Like they
Yeah.
they are the definition of journeyman. Come in, be pros, do your job.
Yeah,
if it's 3 and D, if it's perimeter D, if it's hustle, if it's run the show a little bit. Schroeder's he's been a starter on some decent teams and played some really good point guard minutes. So
And Kate Icewood, we trust.
yes,
There you go.
Motor K. He's a Cadillac on the court.
So 2 things
Playing
before,
for Detroit, you understand.
Stephen A. Shut up for a
Where did he
minute.
come from?
2 things before we hit a break. And
Were you going
What-
to address what we just were glancing at?
that's actually what I was about
Oh
to
my
address.
God.
So we mentioned
I got an apology accepted from my wife.
Okay,
So
fair
just want
enough.
You guys know.
So
We're watching Mel Kiper here.
on ESPN, they're
Oh, boy.
Mel Kiper's grades that they had for the draft.
A minus for drafting Jackson Dart.
Stephen A. Shut up for a second.
He had the Lions with a C-, Mel Kiper, by the way.
No, I
He
think
had
it
the
was C+.
Browns with an A+.
Yeah,
no, he
which is
didn't.
what
He
we were
did.
all. Yeah, we're all.
Yeah, he did. That's what we were looking at.
If
I'm
anyone
like, that
saw
can't
all of
be
us
right.
on stream looking the other
We're all
direction,
like-
we're watching Mel Kiper.
I look
give
over,
the-
see
yeah.
it, and of course, him being simulcast on his whatever stream from probably his basement, and you just see him just got this, eating grin on his face. And I look over, I just glance out of the corner of my eye, and Bobby just gives me this look of,
Are you seeing this?
And then I
What?
turn around and I'm like, WTF?
This
Right.
dumb
What's going on?
MF? What is he looking at?
exactly. But so that's the one point I want to bring up is that Mel Kiper, apparently he finally was able to, relieve himself
He
by
needs to
getting an A+.
retire.
Well, I mean, what back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was the former owner of the Colts that said, "Who the hell is Mel Kiper Jr.?" So I mean, it still seems fitting to this day.
The appropriate response.
Yeah, but my question to you, and I mean, Vanessa, I'm assuming you may be a basketball junkie too. Like I know Stephen A. Boogie on the other side is. What has been the biggest surprise so far this NBA playoffs? Is it the fact that? I mean, is it the Pistons being able to get to this point? Is it is it the Timberwolves?
Oh, side note,
being
right
up-
before the show started, the Clippers pulled out, or not the Clippers, they lost to the Nuggets in a last second. And like with an alley-oop with like 0.1 on the clock, they had to review whether the ball left his hands before the clock
I think it was
expired.
actually a missed shot, wasn't it? That got caught as an alley-oop,
Yeah,
like by the rim.
Jokic missed an air ball, and then was it
Aaron
Aaron
Gordon, yeah.
threw it down with literally
still on the ball.
0.00001
Yeah, they
seconds.
reviewed it for a few minutes, but yeah, so
But
tied
yeah.
it up.
So, but I mean, is the bigger surprise right now what is the biggest surprise so far of the NBA playoffs? Because I mean, I'm shocked that the T-Wolves are up 3-1, that they can close out in Los Angeles on Wednesday night. Is it the fact that Golden State is up 2-1 on the Rockets? They're up 2-1. They play game 4 tonight out in the Bay. I'm not surprised by the Thunder sweeping the Grizz. The Grizz shouldn't have been there probably in the
Thunder
first place.
are unstoppable.
I will say, okay, continue, Miz. Sorry.
I mean, there really isn't much. Honestly,
I think
as
it's
far
the
as
Lakers.
West.
I think it's the Timberwolves over the Lakers because you know what? A lot of people had the Warriors beating the Rockets because the Rockets just have no half-court offense. Unfortunately,
also
Amen
very
Thompson
young.
is an incredible athlete, but he has the same affliction as Asar, which is he basically can't play half-court offense. So it's really tough. So
Golden State's got this weird clutch factor that I don't
mean,
like.
it's not
but
weird. They have the greatest shooter ever.
I know.
Right?
That's I know.
My goodness.
And
I'm a Golden State fan.
yeah.
I like them a lot. I used to live in San
Steph
Francisco
is
for 3 years.
likable.
He
Like,
is.
he just is.
Did you see what he just did at the car dealership?
Oh,
That
I
whole
thought
thing
you
with
were
his mom?
talking him golfing. The
Don't
car
ask him.
dealership I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
see.
Don't ask him about his opinions of public housing.
Is
but
Jimmy Butler
Wow.
back? Is
Jimmy-
he still dinged?
Jimmy Buckets, I believe
he got
he's
hurt.
back?
I think he missed the last game.
He
Okay.
missed the last one. Okay,
I mean,
Pretty
you put any core of guys with Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and then Steve Kerr calling shots. Like
That's a
they're
winner.
gonna make some noise in the playoffs.
yeah.
Cavs probably going to close it out against the Heat tonight.
You know what? The Magic took a game from the.
They did.
The Magic took one game. I didn't expect that at all.
Are you going to play the music?
Are
you going to
I was
play-
just going to sing it.
Play the song.
Magic.
Play the damn song. Yeah, how's your ears?
Wow. Speaking of the Magic, though,
Brandon's deaf now.
Impeccable.
Franz Wagner,
Great
Paolo
timing.
Bencaro, ballers. Just
Oh,
want to
yeah.
put that
Oh
out there.
yeah.
Just
Oh,
want to
yeah.
put that out there. Yeah.
And I want to apologize to my a couple of my friends that are watching on stream that we had to talk about the Rockets and how they're down 2-1. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sorry.
We're just asking the honest question of what is the biggest surprise in the NBA playoffs right now.
I will say this. Probably I wouldn't go surprised.
We want Houston to lose. Shout out for next segment.
I wouldn't go surprised because OKC was what they had like a 15-game lead on the 2 seed or something by the time the season ended.
They
I mean,
were
it
on
was-
68
fire.
games.
They were on
But-
fire this season.
I don't even know if they like broke a sweat. They're so good.
They were down
I
29 and won
In
that
one-
game.
in
I
one.
mean, Ja
Yeah.
got hurt, but
Yeah,
still,
true.
I mean, that's still a tremendous accomplishment.
They're on
Another
fire.
wimp.
Yeah.
Dare I say? I mean, I know the fall was hard, but like he just fell on
He
the
misses
ground.
a lot of time.
Like get up and it's the playoffs, dude.
Well,
Play.
Well,
Yeah.
some of the reasons why John Morant misses basketball is
Anthony
not injury
Edwards.
related though.
Well, yeah, he has.
Anthony Edwards gets rolled up on by LeBron. Yeah, it looked a little bit painful, but he looked like he got shot. And then he comes back in and he's fine. Brunson looks like he's never gonna walk again.
Dude,
Comes in and scores
that
15 in
Brunson
the
stuff,
fourth.
We just took John Morant.
Yeah,
I mean,
that-
we took a John
Lord.
Morant statement and brought in
Yeah.
the Lakers series and just combined them together
There you
into
go.
one. It's a marriage made in NBA West Conference. heaven
Neymar
right
has
there.
nothing on Jalen Brunson.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude.
Yeah, it's
it's
about
so
it.
bad. He's the new James Harden.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson.
I don't even know if Harden was this. Well,
Oh, dude,
yeah.
dude.
I stopped myself mid-sentence.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yes.
The Harden foul baiting was
Remember
like
when-
poison.
Remember when people used to defend Harden behind him so he couldn't do the step back? That was a real
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
But
That-
then he jumped backwards into you.
They
They
would
still gonna call.
They would give him the lane and just stand behind him. Unbelievable defense
Yeah.
being played in the NBA, the
Game-
association.
Game 5 between the Knicks and Pistons tomorrow night in the Garden, 7:30 on TNT, and also on FanDuel Sports. I would rather listen to the FanDuel Sports
Blaha
coverage.
and Kelser, of course.
Well, yeah. I mean, I felt bad the fact that they couldn't air on FanDuel yesterday, but here we are, and that's here nor there. I have no idea what during the camp for, but here we are. We're gonna take a break. We come back. We said it last year. They said it last year. No one is listening to those gritty Tigers.
Los Tigres.
They let them get hot, they stay hot, and they continue to be hot. Get some Tiger talk coming up on the other side here on the M Zone, the Big 1050 WTK, online, thebig1050.com.
Fly ball, right field. Watch it fly. Gone. Riley Green launches, and the Tigers take a 3-1 lead in the third.
This is the M Zone.
We are back here on the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA, online at the Big1050.com. Matt and Missler, Brandon Brown will be back with us in a little bit, probably using facilities. I don't know. I've always been open about saying maybe people are out and about. Vanessa Pawlak, our MVP, in studio with us. Booby Toothington rocking out to a little jam that thanks to our guys at Sports Rap. It's one of their return bumpers. And E-Boogie on the 1s and 2s. And I don't know how many times it's been said, whether I said it, whether anyone at the station has said it, or whether they have said it.
Tell them.
Don't let the Tigers get hot. Someone
Don't do it.
Let the Tigers get hot.
I care about you.
I care about your well-being. That's all I'm saying. Sweeping the Baltimore Orioles, and first off, sweeping the doubleheader. They didn't play Friday night because of Mother Nature coming by. So they bumped the Friday game to the ladder of a day-night doubleheader on Saturday, getting the doubleheader sweep first and foremost. That is an impressive feat in itself because both these teams, Baltimore and Detroit, they play their asses off on Saturday. And then you counter it by putting Tarek Skubal out. And Tarek hasn't been his Cy Young self that he was. And I think a lot of it is that he
34 innings, 40 strikeouts, 2.3 ERA is still very solid.
When like I said, the first game that he played in LA, it was, offensively, you're first off, you're playing the world champions. So it's kind of tough to.
It's a victory lap. Let them have it.
Yeah. I mean, you had a victory lap first off internationally in Japan. You completely beat the brakes off the Cubs, which, I mean, come on. Any Chicago team's easy to do at this point, really. Let's just be honest here. What's up, Chicago White Sox?
Blackhawks, bad. Chicago baseball, bad. Bears, hopefully still bad.
That's what we're all hoping for.
Chicago's bad, I'm scared. Sorry, continue.
You shouldn't do Chicago sports, okay? But you shouldn't do Chicago sports, okay? Don't do that.
Don't do Chicago sports, okay?
Yeah, it's my terrible.
It's
my terrible.
Makes you bad.
But
Ben Johnson, you suck.
Okay. Ben Johnson, why are you taking all them receivers when you got line problems? Okay.
Right now, honestly, I think
a lot of line problems.
I think right now, the issue with Chicago in terms of the Bears is, can Caleb Williams, can he snap out of that rookie slump that he had last year, and can he mature?
Can they keep him upright, man? They're
Yeah,
getting sacked at David Carr levels.
Damn. Yeah.
That's also true. But I mean, like I said,
he's part of that.
If we give him more weapons, he can throw wherever he wants to. It doesn't matter.
He holds on to the ball too long.
Well, I was going to say, if they can't block for more than 2.5 seconds, they're cooked.
Right.
That's Loveland running the double tight ends now. They got Loveland having another, blocker dump off option. It's a little bit more protection. Every little bit helps. Don't chuckle at me, Eric.
You can't even see me, but you hear the.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
We all love a good dump off option, obviously.
Look.
But even
did they also picked up Durham Smythe? Why did they need so many tight ends?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Never have enough tight ends.
Phrasing.
But I mean, and get another
fast,
get another small fast guy who can't catch too, will you? By the way, to join Devin Duvernay and Olamide Zaccheaus.
We're running 3 tight ends, 3 running backs, no wideouts.
This segment went from
being Ben Johnson special.
Yeah, this segment
oh my God!
This segment went from being the Detroit Tigers are gritty to let's just
dump on Ben Johnson
on Chicago sports.
Come on.
At some point, it's probably just going to circulate somewhere on the internet, just like, listen to this show from Ann Arbor. They didn't even win a national title. They went 7-5.
Please aggregate us. I need the profile boost.
Yeah,
please.
They went 8-5 last year. Yeah,
I am sick and tired of cleaning toilets. Okay, come on now, help me out.
But the thing is with Skubal, if I try to get myself back on track with this one,
and we're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does he think of the Bears roster?
Scoops, Cy Young winner. Timothy Chalamet, what do you think
Where
of
did
the
he go to
Chicago?
school? Maybe he has opinions. I don't know.
He went to the University of Seattle.
That
I do remember because that's all they keep bringing up, just like a 30-plus round draft pick from the University of Seattle, Tarek Skubal. No one wanted him except for the Detroit Tigers. It's my terrible Detroit, a terrible sports announcer.
That was terrible.
It was bad.
That was just terrible.
But
normally I'm on the other side of the glass. But
oh my God,
I'm over here.
Charles Barkley, I'm going to put you in the same porta-john that Shaq was in next to the desk. Okay. Oh my God.
You're still buying the same amount of gas, Shaq. Sorry, there's too many bits. We need to talk about the Tigers.
So Tarek Skubal, he's been I mean, he's not the same Cy Young guy that I think everyone was expecting to start the season off. They lose 5-4 to the Dodgers. Again, I thought it was a great series to open up with. It gives a chance for the Tiger fans to see, yes, there are a lot of injuries that opened the season up in preseason, still missing out on Parker Meadows, Matt Vierling on the IL, a couple of other pitchers that are injured as well.
Our pitching staff across the board, though,
hasn't been bad.
Stat-wise is looking pretty good. I mean, we got 4 starters. I mean, Reese Olson still has 3 wins, 1 loss with a 3.3. Everyone else is below 3. I mean, Skubal, 2.3. I mean, 40 strikeouts to 5 walks is still, I mean, yeah, he's taken a couple L's, but he's still playing incredible.
The one L to the Mariners, that one I'll let the Dodger one go. The Dodger one was going to be a tough one. It's their home opener. The fans are going to be fired up. You've got Ice Cube that rolls out in a low rider.
The record counts, but for the Tigers mentally, that's that's the preseason playoffs.
I mean, listen, there's 162 games. We can go, 161-1, and it turns into 160-2, 159-3. And at that point, after the 3-game series, I'm like, are we having a repeat of what happened last year? But they find a way to rebound back. They win the series in Seattle. It was a little disappointing that they lose the second Skubal start that he had in Seattle, but there were errors that really kind of caused that issue. Colt Keith, again, still green, still has a lot to work on in terms of adjusting between second and first base. But Skubal had a fairly decent game that day. 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, and he gave up all 3 runs. But then you put him out there against the Yankees. 6 shutout innings, 6 strikeouts in the game against the Yankees. Jamie Morris's Yankees. Okay. Yes, I will continually drop that as well. Then you send him out. He doesn't pitch in the Twin series, which that was a great series. I think that was, to me, that series more than any of the other ones was more of a litmus test to see, is this Tiger team going to be something this year? You're playing a divisional foe. A foe that you've had a tough time playing over the past couple of years on the road or at home, and you're able to get 2 of 3 up in the Twin Cities. You go to Milwaukee afterwards. Alice Cooper once said it is called Milwaukee, meaning the good land. That's a Wayne's World reference if you don't understand. If you do, we could be friends. Dude, yeah. 7 innings, 9 scoreless, and 7 innings, 0 runs, 9 Ks in that game. Counters it with a game with Kansas City on, of all days, Easter Sunday, blaze it up as well on 420, where he gives up the 2 runs that could have gotten them lost. The Tigers offensively were able to scrap back and at least take it to extra innings. They fall in extra innings, but then you throw them out this past Sunday against Baltimore, and it was questionably the best start of the season. 6 innings pitched, scoreless, 11 strikeouts in the win over the Orioles, and they swept them. They go 8-2 in this 10-game homestand, best record in the American League by, I believe,
by 1 game
and a half. By 1 game.
I think there's someone else at 17. Yeah, Yankees are at 17. Then you got the Red Sox and the Mariners both at 16 wins.
Okay, but I mean, I think it's by 1.5 games is the difference between them and the Yankees right now. But now comes another. To me, I think this is probably the biggest test early on in the season. They hit on the road for a 10-game road trip, starting down in H-Town against the Houston Astros. or if they had this.
Houston Astros.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they still have the same hats that New Era was pumping out too. Yeah, those hats were something else. It's the reason why they got rid of. I still wanted to get one.
Reason why they're
if
going
anyone's
for
got a
a
plug,
couple $100.
If anyone's got a plug, let me know.
No, I want the Texas Rangers one because everyone wants
the Titas. Yes,
that's the one. But 10-game road trip, Astros, and then they've got the Angels afterwards, I believe,
and then the Rockies.
So you've got one team that is completely and utterly garbage. And again, you thought that Chicago, the White Sox, were bad. Meanwhile, Colorado's saying, "Hold my Coors Light."
Well, they're also in the best division in baseball right now.
Are they though?
Yes.
Are they though?
I mean, the NL West is. I mean, the Giants have, I think, the best record in all of baseball, or tied for best record in baseball. And
19-10, right behind the Mets.
Yeah,
the Mets, baby.
I mean, fourth place in that division is still over 500.
The National League West has the second, third, and fourth best records, and then Arizona is the sixth best team in the National League. So yeah, they're cooking.
I mean, at least
you only have 4 wins. I'm just looking at this now. That's crazy.
Yeah, how are they? Yeah,
how do you do that?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they looked at what Chicago did last year and just went, we could try to one up that.
Negative 69 run differential.
Nice.
There you go.
Not nice.
No, because it's not us collectively and everyone on stream. Say it with us now in 3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Oh.
Okay.
Vanessa drops it. Can't even say it
Here we
again
go.
afterwards. It's all good. That's fine.
By the way, the hat thing, there's the Boston one also says Boban.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one's pretty good. Oh, shout out to Boban, man.
Yeah.
Wherever you at, wherever you are.
The man that's willing to miss a second free throw intentionally for chicken sandwiches.
Exactly, a man of the people.
That's what he is.
Him
Man
and Toby need to get back together.
Have you?
Come on now. Bring him to the
This is way off the rails for a quick second. Have you seen the website Boban Holding Things?
No.
It's phenomenal. His hands.
I'm going to
Go
say
there right now. You
His
guys can do
hands
the
are
show.
his hands are so gigantic that him just holding anything is comedy.
Holding things.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
Sorry to all of our listeners as we
damn.
all look up
It might
this
not
website.
be .com. You can
Oh.
just Google like Boban Holding Things.
I mean, it's a
Okay.
Reddit thread.
Mhm.
Boban holding things.
And
Okay.
His hands are huge, and he's just like holding people's heads.
it's wild.
Here's they got a Twitter account too.
It's look at him holding Uno cards. They look like miniature cards.
What?
He's holding there's one where he's holding like a full gallon of milk and he's just like holding it like
Holding a
it's
baby,
fantastic.
Nice.
The Twitter only has like 4 posts.
There's 4 pictures. That's it.
But
Man,
but
they
no,
gave up on that bit so
Reddit
quickly.
has a whole thread of it. Him on like a moped, and it looks like a child's tricycle. It's incredible.
He's holding a champagne bottle like it's a beer
Yes,
bottle.
yes.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean,
So cool.
you have to remember he's like he'll be like dapping up like another large human being NBA player, and the person's
Yeah.
whole forearm just disappears. in his
He's
hand.
got Jamal Murray in his bosom right here
Yeah.
that I'm looking at.
It's
he's
really
so
strong.
small.
It's strong.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry,
I love
everybody.
Boban.
No, don't apologize.
Excellent tangent, Brandon. Well played.
I love it.
Honestly,
In the middle of baseball talk, that's what you need.
sometimes you just need something to go off the rails, and I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, during baseball talk.
Again, the playground may be off for the summer. We may be on summer vacation on the playground, but we wholeheartedly love off the rail content.
Oh yeah, I mean it
Like-
makes you go.
Yeah, kind of like how Brandon, you really both Vanessa and Brandon, you missed the epic Pop-Tart bracketology that we had.
Oh
Do
my
not
God.
Get me started.
Oh
I
my
still have
God.
not forgiven Derek for
Brown
this.
sugar cinnamon.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yes.
Someone made that was during the bowl season, and they had a Pop-Tarts flavor bracket, and
Banana bread was robbed.
Banana bread was like sneaky good.
Ew.
No, it had like a cinnamon.
It's way better
wrong
than you
with
think
you?
it is.
It
It's
was
so
not-
good. You don't like banana bread?
I mean, I do not
At
in
work?
Pop-Tart flavor.
hear me out though.
It's good.
Dude, put that
good.
stuff in a toaster. Come on now.
Yeah,
It's like watermelon Jolly Ranchers. They
No,
don't taste like
it's
Jolly
not, though.
Ranchers.
No, it's not.
Whoa.
though.
Or they don't taste like watermelon. They don't
No.
taste like.
That's fair. I hate watermelon flavored things. This is another tangent. We'll get back to baseball in a second, people.
Mhm.
But yeah, watermelon flavored things are terrible. Watermelon's excellent.
Yeah,
I
so
agree with you.
banana bread Pop-Tarts.
Oh,
It was
it's
not
good.
bad. I promise you,
It-
they were all right.
Ugh.
it wasn't.
There was a lot of
bad.
cinnamon to it.
Threw up a little in my mouth.
Oh,
It wasn't-
It's way better.
Shouldn't have drank the Sprite with it.
Yeah,
It's
it-
good.
For those of you that understand.
yeah,
Doesn't
I understand it. I understand that internet challenge.
Got him.
And that's I think the cue to go to break. Then
Tigers
can all have our
Tigers are
Buckeyes.
real good.
Hey,
people.
Tigers are pretty good, right?
Tigers
Yeah.
are good. Hey, they again, 10-game road series starts tonight. down
Javi
in
Baez
Houston.
batting over 300, playing
Oh, your
every single
favorite.
Oh,
position.
man,
Your
torque
favorite.
bombs. Oh, the torpedo.
I wasn't.
Oh, he's
Torque, Carpenter, and
Torkelson with
Green
8
are
home
on
runs.
shooting out
fire.
torpedoes.
Yeah, I mean,
Carpenter with 5, Green with 4.
Kerry
Oh,
Bonds.
You heard Dan Dickerson with his call of Carpenter's 3-run homer in the second of the doubleheader from Saturday by way of FanDuel Sports Detroit. He wasn't on the radio call because well, Jason Benetti happens to be everywhere at every single time.
Mhm.
So there's that.
Yeah.
We're
He's the best.
gonna take a break, but first, a message from our friends at DGY Dentistry, as it is a Monday, and on Mondays we want to know what makes you smile. At DGY Dentistry, Jamie is always talking about his $1 million smile, the Michael Jordan of dentistry, if you will.
That's right.
That's what Jamie Morris says about DGY
Gambling
Dentistry.
I heard
No,
they got a
not
game
that.
plan for you, though.
Oh my
I
God,
heard they got a
hush,
game plan.
hush up. It's about DGY Dentistry, not about gambling or anything like that. DGY Dentistry got that hookup. Give them a call, give them a check out. DGYDentistry.com is a place to go. Jamie Morris loves the people over there. Dr. Zarin loves the inpatient people over with Mary and everyone that's over at DGY Dentistry. And on Mondays, we do ask you what makes you smile. So that's going to be one of our questions today. What made you smile over the weekend? Be one of the questions. Was it the draft? Was it the Tigers sweeping the O's? I know it wasn't for a certain employee here at WTKA, Ira Weintraub. Sorry about that. But hey, at least you got some good draft picks out of the Baltimore Ravens. So you got that going for you. Or was it, or are you a Knicks fan and are we going to have to razz you on the phone afterwards?
Bunch of haters.
I don't know. We'll talk about that. What makes you smile? Plus, how would you grade your team from the NFL draft? Because not everyone that's probably watching or listening is a Detroit Lions fan. I know my friend Kyle is chomping at the bit to call up. He is a Houston Texans fan. How do you think your boy Casario did down in Houston? We're going to open the phones up, 734-998-1050. The text line, same number as well. Or you can just comment on the stream. We're going to talk to you on the other side of the break here on the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA and online at thebig1050.com.
This is the M Zone.
Welcome back to the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTK online, thebig1050.com. If you're watching on stream, yes, Brandon had to dip out. He's got some fatherly duties and responsibilities to take care of. So he had to dip out. So Brandon, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Matt Missler here in studio, along with the MVP of the M Zone, Miss Vanessa Pawlak. Also got Booby Toothing in the third.
Shaka bra.
Shaka bra. And E Boogie on the ones and twos.
I saw, dude.
Want to shout out everyone that's watching on stream, by the way, whether you're watching on the two Facebook outlets, facebook.com/thebig1050WTKA or facebook.com/the Morris Zone. At 1050WTK on Instagram to round up the metaverse. And then you've got YouTube at the Big 1050WTK and on my twitch.tv/the Miz on air. Thank you, Potch. Yes, we will bash more Chicago sports.
Potch with an excellent take.
Yes.
For those of you joining us in VR in the metaverse, you're in the studio virtually.
Oh, stop.
Got to get like 8 cameras set up in here. People can feel like they're really in the conversation.
That is beyond our pay grade here to have anything like that. Okay, like
I don't want no Oculus. I don't want no goggles. I don't care about.
We're just lucky. We're just lucky that the stream is still working.
I'm just lucky that I'm just allowed to have a phone and allowed to have a job that pays just enough. Yeah. Hey.
Then as long as the boss doesn't come running down going, what are you guys talking about right now? Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. 734-998-1050 is the number. You can call us, text us. If you want to tweet us, you can do that as well at MZoneWTKA on Twitter. Question of the day, because not everyone is a Detroit Lions fan per se. I mean, I'm a Saints fan. I'm not too happy with how things kind of panned out, but that's here nor there. But how would you grade your team's draft? I mean, Mel Kiper decided to have a full-blown O-face and give the Cleveland Browns an A+.
That
because it took him 2.5 days to finally say, yes, Shedeur Sanders got drafted. Oh my God.
Look, he's trying to get into Deion's inner circle. Fine.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good. Have fun with it, but it is what it is. Also, hey, what makes you smile today? It is a Monday from our friends at DGY Dentistry. What made you smile over the weekend? What makes you smile today? As we hit the phones at 734-998-1050, we head down to Clarksville, Tennessee, and talk to my friend, Mr. Kyle King. Kyle, good afternoon, my friend. How you doing?
I'm really glad all of you are having such a good time. But, I'm the one, as the father, who has to sit there and tell 2 young children that Shedeur Sanders didn't get drafted.
That's what's up.
Oh, no.
Difficult conversations you have to have as a parent. And to look those 2 young, beautiful children in the eyes and say, Daddy Deion couldn't get him to at least the second round. It's terrible.
It's a learning experience. See, even the most influential dad in the league can't do that for his son. So temper your expectations for me.
I don't know about you, but I don't want my kids growing up in a world where your famous rich father can't get you anything that you want. That's not the world I want to be in.
Stay out of Hollywood.
Okay?
Those are the 2 worlds that's 2 different worlds we live in. Because I'm just like, my dad was a blue collar unionized sheet metal worker. We didn't grow up to get any kind of riches that way.
Yeah. It honestly probably did more harm than good.
Trying to be rich?
No, they never claimed that.
Oh man, I mean,
not even hood rich.
Terrible.
I know.
But, what the whole thing with the draft? Don't get me wrong. I was one of those cheering on Shedeur falling. It was funny, but this whole, why do we always have to find some stupid ulterior motive for why somebody fell in the draft or didn't go where we expected them? What is wrong with just looking at it going you know what? Maybe he just was kind of a jerk and rubbed people the wrong way, and they didn't really want to take a chance on him then and just wanted to pass. Whatever happened to days like that? Why does everything have to be, they're blackballing him. They're trying to send a message to Deion. How about every time he says legendary when he stops talking, it makes me want to violently punch a hole in drywall?
It's because this generation is soft. Nobody takes accountability anymore, and they just point fingers to blame other people. So that's what's going on, and it's sad, and I wish it wasn't true, but it is funny.
I won't argue with you too hard, Vanessa, but also, Kyle, unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of other crazy stories with the draft, and all of the, pundits are like trying to find stuff to talk about, and this was like a real easy layup for all of the pundits to talk about.
For some reason, nobody wanted to talk about the number one player that got taken in the draft, Cam Ward. I guess a quarterback went number one, and then they immediately moved on. Yeah. It's like he got down the hall, and then by the time he even got to take the picture with Goodell, they were already moving on to Travis Hunter.
I think it was so expected, though. And he's such a nice guy, and he's so normal that, like, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, we all knew this was going to happen. Okay, next guy.
Normalness, it does work against you, unfortunately.
It does, because everybody else in the NFL is flashy. They've got their,
if he would have worn a pink suit, they would have given him an extra couple minutes.
Right.
I feel like, dude, it's just like.
But haven't you checked out Shadur's, big old blinged out watch and how he wants to do music with the number one draft pick?
I think that's sick. Mm-hmm. You should keep doing that.
I mean, I just like to imagine that Goodell was sitting back the whole night being like, Tennessee, are you sure you want to take the most boring guy in the draft? You don't want to spice it up? Maybe just, I don't know, for funsies, take a kicker,
Hold on. Hold on, Kyle. You're gonna call up here and assume that Roger Goodell is gonna be a WWE referee, like someone's trying to cash in Money in the Bank. Are you sure you want to do this?
We'll let you host the next Super Bowl if you draft Shadur number one.
Yeah.
Like, I would absolutely love if just somebody would just be like, you know what? YOLO, Hunter number one.
That's what, oh my God, that's what I did in our mock draft, just to switch it up.
Oh, wow. You know what?
Remember?
Yeah.
Okay, Taco, for all of you who understand the TV show The League reference.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
It was I am so sad it's not on anymore. Yeah. I love that show.
Yes. Oh my God. The League was just an all timer. Too bad one of those guys turned out to be like a real terrible dude. But
who'd have thunk?
Yeah. Actors on TV. It's crazy.
Shocker.
They're all, who could have seen it?
I like that it was filmed in Chicago. I would go to that steakhouse for that show.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's not Chicago sports.
If that guy continues being so bad, his kid might not get drafted until the 6th round. Might happen.
Browns will take him.
You guys are talking.
Browns will take him because they are apparently really good for Mel Kiper at draft picks.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I don't understand. I actually really do hate these draft grades because all grades is did you live up to what I think you should have done?
Right.
It is one of the dumbest things ever. It is the same energy as the guy who goes to your fantasy football draft and walks out of there being like, championship, bro. Oh, my God, I can't believe that I just got Zach Evans in the 16th round. All you guys suck.
Hey, man, I did that in the Big 1050 League this year, and I felt that way, and then it came through. Big 1050 champion. I just thought everybody should know.
Yeah, Eric. Commissioner bias, well played.
Yeah,
what they should do is they should grade teams on like, hey, what are their last 3 rounds or their last 3 years of draft picks, and only look at them and be like,
because then you can see how these guys pan out.
Only grade them and be like, hey, all these guys you picked, well, all the guys they picked in the last 2 years, 3/4 of them are now starting. So clearly they made good choices. These guys.
I totally agree with that.
So, yeah.
Well, like being a Houston Texans fan, like there were some needs that we needed to address. We obviously cleaned house on our offensive line this year because, we just got tired of Laramie Tunsil constantly starting offsides every other time he could. And then we got tired of the big bust that is Kenyon Green, and we decided to ship him back to Philadelphia.
You had to draft someone with the most vowels in their name I've ever seen, with Ariante Ersri.
Yeah, that's actually going to be the final word in the script spelling bee this year.
Wow, nice. Ariante.
Ariante. Not bad.
Good luck. But and look, we also need wide receiver help because Stephon Diggs is going away. Stephon Diggs is gone, and now you've got Tank Dell on the IR yet again. So you come in.
Oh, is he? I didn't see that he
broke his leg and a lot more, I think, in that Chiefs game in the playoffs. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about the Chiefs game.
Yeah, no. As a guy who had Nico Collins on a fantasy, I understand your need because it's just Nico, and that's kind of it now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really, that's it. So what does Caserio do? He looks, he can't really make a trade to go up. You got to be deflated watching offensive lineman after offensive lineman leave. And then Matthew Golden gets taken 2 picks before you. So I think he did the right thing. He trades back. He gets more draft picks. His first pick, he then goes and gets Higgins out of Iowa State, which I'm really excited about. I think he's going to be a good number 2 or slot guy. He then also goes and gets the lineman with the most vowels I've ever seen in my entire life in his name. And you know what? I'm happy with it. This is one of those where I can't put a grade on it, but I can go, did he address our needs? Yeah, he did. Now, are they going to pan out? I don't know. I don't know as much as the next guy. I hope they do. But I'm not going to sit here in 2-3 years if they don't pan out and go, Nick Caserio's terrible at drafting. He may have got the scouting wrong, but he definitely found what we needed to do and did the best that he could with it.
Yep, that feels almost identical to how I feel about the Lions draft. It's like nothing flashy. I'm happy with those choices. I trust that at least half of them will work out. Cool.
First of all, I'm actually very, very, very concerned for your pick that told Dan Campbell that he would die on the field for him, because I feel I feel like Dan Campbell will literally hold him to that.
If you need to sub out. We have other players.
Also, it's 2025. Are we really dying for our employers out there these days? Are we really doing that?
If my employer was Dan freaking Campbell, I would absolutely do that. If there was a choice between Dan Campbell and the Predator, I would choose Dan Campbell 100% of the time. There's a thing going around on the internet right now where people are saying, who would win, 1 gorilla or 100 men? No, Dan Campbell would kill all of them.
He's like the new Chuck Norris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does the Predator have kneecaps? I don't know.
Dan Campbell took him.
Chuck Norris uses a nightlight, so in fear of Dan Campbell.
That's right.
Unbelievable. That's
Chuck
right.
Norris wears Detroit Lions pajamas to bed.
Yes.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Texans seem like they did pretty well too.
I'm excited for it. Look, I'm a little concerned going into this year. At least I would be if we weren't having to face the scary combination of Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones in Indianapolis.
Oh boy, yeah, real world beaters there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk about a QB competition. Yeah.
I mean, I think the Browns have the only competition maybe sadder than that. That's like the only one.
Much sadder, but also
Giants.
Colts. Come on now.
Colts are 31, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
The G-men are
Giants.
It's a lowercase G right now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I've seen Russell Wilson play okay, recently. So you know what? It's better than Anthony Richardson.
But at least, that's not a carousel. You got Russell Wilson for the next year or two to be a solid guy while you can build up the rest of the team.
Yeah, Jackson Dart. We'll do Jackson Dart stuff. Probably not be very good, but whatever.
Guys, I actually have to get ready. My I got some family coming in town, so I got to hurry up and clean. But I will leave you with this: no matter what happened with this NFL draft, no matter who went where, who got who, who made what trades, I think we can all collectively agree. Thank God we're not the New York Jets. And with that, I leave you.
Appreciate
Thank God I'm not the Browns. Yeah.
But no, I agree. At least we're not the New York Jets.
I don't know, man. You see the way Aaron Glenn's been moving these days. I wouldn't be that
I'm going to
upset.
take a look at the Jets picks right here because I don't remember anyone after their first round. So, they had Armand Membu, the tackle, first round.
Yeah, they
Mason Taylor, tight end. Good Lord, that's a lot of vowels, too.
I'm just saying, man, you got a guy. I think
Aaron
Aaron Glenn.
Receivers. Yeah. Okay.
I think Aaron Glenn's got a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah.
I think you do all right.
The one other team that I really hate to say it hurts me to say, I do actually think the Packers did pretty well in the draft, which makes me a little bit nervous.
So what's up with the NFC North? They just decided we're just going to draft all the pass catchers.
Dude.
We're just going to have teams of this. The Packers are just going to have nothing but receivers and Josh Jacobs.
Dude, the entire NFC North is just linemen and receivers. It's just,
I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
I just, it just seems like the teams that are trying to beat the Lions, they feel like the best way to do that is just spread them out, get a bunch of receivers, and we'll make it happen. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily blame them, but it just kind of shocked me to see the Bears take Loveland and then take another receiver in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
But taking a tight end like towards the end too, I'm like, make it make sense.
I know. I'm like,
You
What's
know what,
up, man?
You know
That's them
Green
determined
Bay,
to
are you
run
guys
double
just-
tight end, and they have a third one now that they can pepper in for a down or two, I guess.
It's like this was in like the back page of my special playbook of running big set on 1st and 10 from my own 35.
Like if Matthew Golden doesn't work out as the wide receiver 1 for the Packers, they just have a bunch of twos. They just like got a bunch of guys. They have a bunch of talented twos.
They got
kinda.
19 different plays that are all just massive crossing routes.
Well, it's just like, I guess it's also accounting for the fact that at any moment, any one of them is just going to tear a knee. Like clearly, Watson's already out. I think for the season, he tore his ACL, I believe, at the end of last year. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It just
remember,
kind of let me scratch my head a little bit.
let this be a lesson of life. Don't be a 2, be a 1.
Damn right.
2 is
Always
the
be a
first
1.
loser.
You know what though? In a lot of cases, I'm not sure I want to be the 1. I'm sure, I'd rather be a 2 or a 3.
As we've established many years ago as a
child.
child, first is the worst, second is the best.
Wow.
I don't know about that because I'm the oldest. So
Third is the one with the polka dot dress.
Oh, wow.
The hairy chest.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. I've been told that this. Never mind. 734 998 1050. I'm assuming this is Hadley.
Yes, sir.
Hadley, what's up?
It's actually pretend Hadley.
Oh, okay. Fake Hadley. Got
It's fake Hadley.
Not real.
You got me. So aloha, guy. I mean, no, sorry, the wrong thing to say there.
Listen, it's not 12 noon. It's not 12 noon here. It's 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
Here.
No,
Shoot, it might be
No,
like
I
10
said
o'clock
that-
over there right now.
I don't know.
4 hours.
I said that to
4?
Jamie
That's
on
it?
Friday. I wished him aloha for Hawaii. But you guys aren't going there, and neither am I. So why did I do that? I don't know. Jamie said he was going to bring you guys back some canned air from Hawaii.
You know what? That sounds fitting of Jamie that he'd bring us back some canned air.
Yeah, that's cool.
That would be that just seems okay. Sounds about right. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Wasn't that in reference to they were selling it when he played football there? And
Yeah.
he brought
I
it
think so,
back for
Yeah,
his
like
brothers or
canned
something.
or jarred. Yeah, jarred or canned
Like
air.
Hawaiian
What's
air.
to do with that?
I don't know. Apparently, crack it open for the boys and
Bring some sand from the beach, get a little Zen
What,
garden
me
in
and
the
my-
middle of the table.
Oh man, check this smell out, dude. Check it out. It's air.
oh, it smells like spam and pineapples.
That's cool.
That actually,
That'd actually
those
be
go
all right.
together. Those work.
That might be all right, Anyway, what you got, Hadley? What do you think?
Well, what I got is
Question of the day. What
talking
makes you
about
smile?
the what makes me smile.
Yeah,
Well, I thought the Lions,
Just for today.
I thought the Lions did okay in their draft. They probably could have done a little better.
Sure.
I noticed after the press conferences and everything, they kept slamming them. The GM about, did you get your edge rusher? Did you get your edge rusher? And he kept saying, yeah, I got him. So that maybe they resolved that. Do you think they did, or?
Well, it sounded like he did. He wanted to trade up, and somewhere in the 40 range, it sounded like for an edge rusher, nobody would take the call. Or not take the call. They just didn't make the deals. So they might have traded up for one, and they just didn't tell us because they don't want to reveal that information. Maybe they were going to take one earlier, but I don't know. I don't think it's really a solved position yet. Maybe just a committee this year, unless Zadarius Smith comes back.
And they gave him a ranking of what, a B?
Yeah, something like that.
I think CBS gave the Lions a B. Mel Kiper decided that he wasn't happy that the Lions didn't draft Shador, so they gave him a C plus.
The Hendon Hooker backup spot was open.
No, yeah, but no, you got to leave that open for Teddy Two Gloves.
Oh, that's right.
Teddy.
Do you guys in the rankings of grades? How many teams got A's? Do you know? If anybody,
more than one. That's all I know.
Yeah, I mean
know.
they showed a lot. I know he gave the Pats an A minus.
So he gave the Giants an A minus too. Didn't
Hey,
he?
I actually like what the Browns did up until after that that Judkins pick. I think up to that point it makes sense to me, and then they kind of fell off the rails a little bit. But I actually kind of like trading back, getting Mason Graham. He's a dog, obviously. You trade back and don't get Travis Hunter, which is a risk. Obviously, if he becomes all what he's expected to be, that's kind of a bummer. But you got a stud Mason Graham, and you got draft equity back, and you got to take a few guys.
Maybe why they got an A is just purely on total value because they had 5 picks within the first 3 rounds.
Well, that'll usually do it too. I mean,
so it's
take a lot of highly touted
until the
guys.
QB comedy carousel, they took a lot of good players and they addressed their needs. So it's like
Some of them.
okay. Yeah.
a few. I mean, running back was definitely a position of need. They got Judkins.
Yeah, I mean,
Judkins is fine. I don't.
Well, considering too that it did seem like that Cleveland was looking to go ahead and part ways with Nick Chubb. He's been dealing with the injury bug the past couple of years. So why not just go ahead and dip back down into the Ohio State, running back pool that'll probably, at least for maybe Quinshon Judkins, maybe just, flop. Because I don't have high faith in him. Travion Henderson, I think, was the better of the two. But hey, whatever you do, Cleveland, you do you, boo boo. I'm not you guys, okay?
You guys know who Mr. Irrelevant was?
It was a corner, I think. I don't remember where from. But,
Mr. Irrelevant.
It was from Memphis. It was a corner, maybe.
With the 257th pick of the draft, the New England Patriots took Memphis cornerback Kobe Minor.
Hey, there we go. Ooh, and they quickly deleted a tweet that they sent out that just said A minor.
Oh my god!
One of the instant greatest deleted tweets of all time.
Should have kept it.
Surely should have kept it. You already tweeted it.
I prefer the second to last pick to the Chargers, Traqueezy Bridges.
Oh, Traqueezy?
We're getting to a point now where some of these names are just the East-West bowl.
Yeah, the Key and Peele.
Yeah. The Key and Peele skit at this point now.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. That's so cool.
Okay, and then I really was hoping Michigan could break their record of first-round draft picks because we had 4 and 13, something like that, and
I know everyone was talking about Ohio State getting a bunch in the first round, but at least like our
after Michigan.
Except for it was one of them.
They tied their record for the most drafted players.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is but like I said, Michigan. I think, at least myself, I thought Will was going to get drafted late in the first round, but honestly, I when we talked to Nick earlier today and Vanessa, I mean, you were spot on. It was a round off, but I do think the knee injury that Adam Schefter had reported on earlier in the week was probably the biggest deterrent of why he wasn't a first round pick.
And for a position where your mobility is like 99% of your value. Yeah.
But I do think Arizona got a steal in the second round with Will Johnson.
I love the Rams getting Josiah Stewart for them. I mean, that's why I was hoping the Lions were going to maybe address edge rusher with Josiah, because I thought he was one of my favorite players last year.
Yeah, and that's why I thought the Lions were going to go in that direction. But again, I'm not upset that they were addressing a position group, meaning the front four, the defensive line, that needed to be addressed. Again, I mentioned that Ali McNeil, we don't know how healthy he's going to be after the ACL injury this last year. We don't know if he is going to be ready to go for game one. We imagine that he's not going to do any of the preseason games. Most of the time, like for preseason stuff, you're going to get guys that were drafted. You want to get a good eye on things, maybe guys that have the opportunity to be, maybe the rookies that are coming in, second-year guys that need to prove themselves, or guys that you want on your practice squad. And that's where I think that's where some of these guys, the later guys, are going to be at. But again, when you don't know the status of Ali McNeil, picking up Williams at the 28 spot made sense. Again, it would have been nice had Josiah maybe fallen a little bit into the laps of the Lions in the second round. It would have been nice. Again,
well, I mean, he went late third round. He went I think 90, and that's when they traded up for Tesla early in the third round.
Yeah,
so they could have taken him, but they had their eyes set on a different place, obviously. So
that guy better be electric. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, we love Tim Patrick, but he's not like a future. He's on the other side of 30.
Yeah.
So I understand it. And wide receiver 3 has been something that's kind of plagued them for a little while. And then, Tim Patrick's nice for this year and maybe the next year. And then you hopefully hand it off to
and he was clutch for us in a lot of big moments, which is why, he kind of got this sort of beloved, kind of vibe towards the end of the season, which is awesome. Everyone was glad that he came back for at least another year. But if we can, draft and develop a true wide receiver 3 is definitely.
He's also a guy like after 30 years old dealing with like coming off an Achilles and a knee tear. It's like, it's a lot. It's a lot that he was even able to perform.
I will say
I had heard too that the Big Ten ended up with 71 total players, and someone said, gee, that's the most players they've ever had. Well, duh, you just added 4 teams last year. What do you expect?
That's true.
Well, and 2 natty back-to-backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 natties back-to-back. It was really interesting to watch the spring game because I heard everything about the game from you guys that went, and then every person out there that had an opinion about the game, they all talked about it. So I know everything that was going to happen when I watched the spring game, but I did watch it with some enthusiasm. And of course, the best play was the play at the end.
Oh,
the bomb.
The trick play, the double reverse bomb. Yeah.
But that's also a part of
Sharon.
Yeah, I was going to say
at his best. Sharon was at his best when I was just going to say Sharon was at his best when they tried to interview him at the end of the game, and he gave like a 3-second answer. He says, "I got to go over and talk to the boys."
Mm-hmm.
And he cut out.
He pulled a Jim Harbaugh.
He
learned from the best.
He learned from the best.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say, the combination
of enjoy the rest of your week. I know this is the only show we're doing, which is too damn bad, but oh well, I understand. And we'll talk to you all next week.
Sounds good, Allie. Appreciate it.
Bye, Allie.
Welcome back now.
Yep. What did you going to say, Bob?
Oh, I was going to say quickly, building off of the spring game and, the first round of the draft, you talk about like recruiting. I mean, yeah, Harbaugh left and people are like, is Michigan still going to be able to bring people in? But it's like, all right, especially if Bryce turns out to be, even if he's not the Messiah his first year, if it shows that he's good and it's like, hey, we just had 3 players go top 15, like, it's clear that if you come here, we are still, despite losing our, air quote, sort of generational coach, we're still very much a competitive team. And we clearly are getting guys NFL ready. So if you want a future in this league.
I was going to say, Bobby, I'm looking at you right now, and it was looking like Robert Pattinson at the end of the lighthouse. And then all of a sudden the bright lights just start showing up. And I'm like, oh my God.
I had this aura about me earlier.
It's his stroke of genius.
It's unbelievable. The light bulbs.
Real man of genius.
Well, Vanessa moved my camera. So
this is what I did. I was like.
She kept moving it, and then the sun moves behind me, as it does in the sky. So I keep having to adjust. But
way too much swag, Bobby. Just way too much swag.
My man.
That's what they're trying to tell you. Don't let them take your swag. Don't let them take your swag.
Exactly. But I'm still really happy because of the recruiting potential for Michigan. Because
they have one of the better
recruiting
recruiting classes. So does Dusty May for basketball.
Yeah,
I mean, he was like the transfer portal king. So, hey, I mean, we're looking good for next season.
2026, you just had the number 4 quarterback, I believe, committed for the 2026 class. He has a last name that I am not sure how to say yet, but I will find out pretty soon.
So we might have our own quarterback goat rodeo.
Mm-hmm. More broccoli haircuts coming to Michigan.
Oh God, don't get me started. I cannot deal with this generation's broccoli haircuts. I want to like shave all their heads when I see them.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Look, when I was young people, we had it going on. But now that I'm old, young people, we don't have it going on anymore.
It was our generation's version of the bowl cut.
Oh,
like where mom would be like, I can do it.
I had the bowl cut for sure. I had the Bieber cut for sure.
My hair was too fluffy. I'll show you after this.
I don't know if I can look.
I used to have a basketball-sized fro as a white guy, which is questionable. And it was
very questionable,
right?
But I could not pull off a bowl cut because it would end up spherical.
All I've done with mine is just like push it off this way, just make it a wave,
Yeah,
there
you got that med student engineer comb over going.
Yeah,
yep, and sure. Comb over. Sure. If you want to call it a comb over, I might have to come in there and fight you. But
it's not quite.
We'll do that. We'll have a fight. We'll have fight night here in the studio during the commercial break.
I'll take all you boys.
I will probably let that happen.
Problems.
I'm just going to sit back.
I'm staying right in here. I'm going to lock that door. I'm going to figure out how to lock that door. It doesn't lock.
I'm just going to occasionally just turn my mic on during the commercial break going, World Star, World Star. Which, by the way, before we go to break, these are unofficial numbers, but it looks like Detroit's still holding the top of the 3-day draft window. 775,000 for Detroit.
Okay.
Green Bay, a 3-day combined 600,000 showing up just outside of Lambeau Field. That's not bad.
Not bad.
The weather was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I think Friday there was a little bit of rain, but for the most part, I mean, Midwesterners are like, it's better than snow.
Mm-hmm. What the hell are 600,000 people going to be doing in Green Bay for a weekend?
Grilling like Johnsonville Browns.
Drinking. Eric, drinking.
I know, but what else?
I think
Freaking.
it's the
How long can you do
legendary
that?
Lambeau Field. I think it's just
Lambeau!
legendary.
That's about
Yeah.
it. It does.
That's it. That's the
You're
draw.
gonna tour the stadium and that's it. It's
Yeah.
like, where do I go? Well,
The
there's
overhead view
know.
of like the stage, you could also see like a few thousand people inside the stadium. Like I think they just had like the big screen, like a TV on in the stadium for people to just hang out in Lambeau to watch.
Well, it's like,
Yeah.
what would you do in Canton, Ohio, if it wasn't the Hall of Fame?
Nothing.
right?
That's a
It's
very
the
good
same thing
point.
that's going to happen in July, and it's going to be epic because it's Harbaugh coming back to the Midwest, and then Dan Campbell. It's going to be the Campbell Harbowl. That's what it's going to be. I don't
hope
even
they
know who I'm
I
rooting
hope
for.
they come up with something better than that.
No,
We'll workshop it.
We'll try.
Somebody
we got a whole
will.
summer.
Who knows?
We got a whole summer, guys.
But
Biting,
it's the same thing. You only go there for that reason.
biting kneecaps and eating T-bone steaks. That's what we're
We
gonna
got
go.
more
Grilling-
torpedoes to
grilling
hit
T-bone
over the summer.
There you go.
Before.
It's grilling and gritty. That's
There you
all we're
go.
saying.
Kneecaps and khakis.
Kneecaps and khakis.
Wow.
Caps and
There we
Wow,
go.
you stretched
Not
that
bad.
one. You stretched
Wow,
that.
April 28th, we already got it.
I mean, we're coming up with ideas, NFL.
Okay.
We're just doing
They
your
love
job.
us.
You can cut the check to us afterwards. Okay, cut it 4 ways. That's all I'm saying. We're gonna take a break. Ron in Ann Arbor, Philly E. Hold on, we'll get to you guys on the other side of the break as we wrap up this 1 day edition of the M Zone. I was about to say the different show because we're not on right now, but the M Zone. We'll be back on the other side here on the Big 1050 WTK and online at thebig1050.com.
Brian Day sucks. Go blue or go home.
Yep. Oh, they had when I was out at Hash Bash for 107.1, they had somebody like that made a bunch of weed related T-shirts, and one of them was Ryan Day smokes mids, and there was like he was wearing. There was a whole group of people walking around with him, which was fun.
That's funny.
If they had it in my size, I would have walked that.
Should have told me. I would have looked for one. I had no idea what his sizes were. Get you a Emperor's New Groove poncho kind of one. Oh. Goose Girl's poison. The boys are especially made for Goose Girl. Goose Girl, poison Goose Girl. How did you get here before us? I don't know. By all accounts, it doesn't add up. Hey, Peter. No, 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 no. A leaf blower. Canned bread.
Eric texts all the time. Yeah, you. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, and last Monday when he was in here, he just
Who was it?
the sponsor segment, the honorable pest control guy who comes in and it's like, what's bugging you is the segment that we'll do.
Yeah.
And he just, I've talked to Eric a little bit about this. He just comes in with unbelievably interesting takes.
He said basketball is a girl sport?
Yes. His name is Kyle Wrestler, I think. Nick Wrestler. Sorry. And it just, I
Why
like,
would he say that?
I have to bite my tongue for like the entire time he's here. I don't know. He thinks any sport that isn't wrestling.
This is the M Zone.
We're back here on the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA, online at thebig1050.com, streaming on our platforms on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on Twitch. Matt Missler, the MVP, Miss Vanessa Pawlak.
Woo woo!
We got Booby Toothington III here with us as well.
What's up?
And E Boogie rocking the ones and twos. I want to thank everyone that has weighed in on stream today. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm always impressed when we get more than just 2 people watching. So I'm like, it's more than just my mom watching. At least we got, peaked at 12 at one point. So I want to thank everyone that joined us for this lone stream and lone broadcast of the week. As reason why I'm kind of smiling is my brother's in town, and that's the reason why we're going off for the week. Is my brother flew in last night from New Orleans by way of Anchorage, so he's in for the week. And he's also here. My mom's birthday is at the end of the week. So kind of almost a twofer.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. So
That's a good week
nice
for you,
little family
Mizzy.
gathering. Let's go.
So we're we don't really have anything planned. It's like, so what do you want to do today? I don't know. You want to go to the bar? Sure.
Sports games.
That's the thing. It's like there's
nothing this week.
There's nothing in town. Not even Mud Hens.
Damn.
The Mud Hens are on the road.
Yeah, you're right. There's nothing this week.
Like I told you guys during the break that I was looking at the Walleye, the AA affiliate of the Red Wings.
Mm-hmm.
They open up their second round series. I believe it's with Fort Wayne. I don't know who they're affiliated with. Don't really care. But their first game of the series in Toledo is Friday night. So I went to go take a look at tickets, and I think the only thing they had left were standing room, and I'm not paying $20 for standing room only.
Yeah.
So instead, I'll probably just bum someone's Flow Sports login and just watch the game that way. We'll just have some ice cold cervezas that way. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just do that. 734-998-1050. Let's talk to Ron in Ann Arbor. Ron, good afternoon, my friend. How you doing?
I'm fine. How's everybody?
We're doing good, my man.
Good, feeling great, Ron.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I got a few things, and I'll go fast. As far as the NFL draft, I'm an old timer, so please understand. I think it sucks.
Okay.
Number one, it takes way too long.
I agree.
That part, I agree. I agree with full-heartedly that it takes way too damn long.
I don't know which is longer, that or the entire episodes of Harry Potter.
That's a good one. What's longer, Harry Potter or this?
Lord of the Rings has got it clear.
I would have never made that comparison, but it's true.
Director's cut.
It's way too long. Way too long. They drag it out. They have these meatheads, experts talking for 90% of the time, and I don't give a damn about what they've got to say because usually they're wrong. About the game yesterday with the Pistons, that was a bad call. But I want to add this. I am an old timer, and I'm going to tell you what I think's wrong with some of these games. Okay, not only pros but college. They added referees to both basketball and hockey. They've screwed up the game. These guys, 90% of the time, are too scared to make a proper call. They look around to see if anybody's going to make a call, and nobody does it when they should. And then the replay thing, it's a joke. They replay things they shouldn't, and they should be replaying things that they should be. Like that last play yesterday should have been replayed. Last week, I made a comment about the Red Wings. I think it's time for Yzerman to go, and I still believe that. And I got 3 things here that are going to kind of shock you. Maybe they won't. You know, there are 3 expansion teams playing right now that are better than the Red Wings.
The Vegas Golden Knights, the Seattle Kraken, and by technicality, the Utah hockey team.
Well, that's 2 of the 3 that I have. That's a good one. The other one is, and they've been around a little bit longer, but I still look at it as an expansion. The Columbus Blue Jackets.
Okay, yeah, CBJ. I can see that to a degree. Yeah.
So, like I say, the Red Wings need changes and big changes, and they need to do it quickly. Steve's had enough time. I hate to say it, I loved him as a player, and he was great down in Tampa Bay, and they actually should be bringing the guy up from Tampa Bay to take over as GM and coach, John Cooper, because he's a hell of a lot better than Iserman is, and so forth. And the last thing I'll say, guys, is go Tigers. What a start.
No kidding, Ron. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I mean, like I said, usually a lot of the times when you call up, usually we're thinking like, oh man, here we go. What's he going to rip on the Tigers? There's nothing really to rip on. Nothing to really grill about.
Can't right now. They're leading the AL.
They're best in the AL.
Literally.
They're only I think in the power rankings, they've got them third behind only the Mets and the Giants, I think, right now. I'll take that. I'll take that any day, twice on Sundays.
And individually, all of our players are, for the most part, playing pretty well. Like, the guys we want to come in and give us a lot of offense are all giving us offense. The pitching staff that was like, this is our focus this year.
Thank you, Chris Vetter.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Wolverine
miracle
legend.
worker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shout. Yeah.
It's exactly. I mean, I'm the only thing I can hope is that the guys that I've been former producer here, Jay-Z, and I were always kind of hoping for in Matt Manning. I can't remember who the other guys, but there was three. That it was Mize, Manning, and there was a third that kind of paired that kind of we thought were going to be the trio of the future.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Manning and the third guy are kind of struggling a little bit down in the minors, so it's kind of tough to kind of gauge that. But Mize coming back from that Tommy John, he's looked outstanding since coming back because he did not look good prior to it. He's turned things around. Bobby, I know you want to do some soccer talk, so I'll give you a couple minutes on that.
The two listeners out there that care about soccer like I do, here's your 90 seconds. Over the weekend, Liverpool ended up clinching the Premier League title with 7 games left in the season, which is the earliest season clinching victory since their own undefeated season or almost undefeated season 7 years ago. And then Barcelona, Real Madrid, their huge Spanish tournament, not their league game. Barcelona won the Copa del Rey against Real Madrid, and a fight broke out, which,
shocker.
Nice.
Hey, it's supposedly they talk about Yankees, Red Sox, Michigan, Ohio State as the two biggest sports rivalries in the U.S., but internationally, the biggest sports rivalry is Barcelona, Real Madrid. Went to overtime in the 115th, 120th minute, right before the end of the game. Barcelona took the lead. And then in the last minute of the game, a bunch of Real Madrid players were screaming at players and the ref from the bench and look, it's not quite hockey. When I say throwing hands, there's no drop the gloves, knock some teeth out. But there was a not insignificant physical altercation with multiple red cards. Ha ha, Real Madrid, you paid for your superstars and it made you worse. So good job, Liverpool. Good job, Barcelona. Back to the sports you care about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you start saying throwing mitts, of course, the PTI is on the background, and they're showing highlights from the Caps and Canadiens game. I don't know if you saw Game 3.
Scrappy.
After the second period, Tom Wilson of the Caps decided to want to throw some knucks with I can't remember, Anderson from the Canadiens, and it spilled from the ice onto the Caps bench. Onto the Caps bench. We haven't seen anything like that since the 70s when the Bruins and everyone had the very bushy porn star stashes.
Did you see the refs starting to play defense after all that happened too? They're very preemptively, whenever anything questionable happened, they're literally body blocking players from getting close to players on the other team.
Just let them choke each other out on the bench real quick. Just let them finish that up. We'll figure it out when you guys just go to your bench, go to your locker room. We'll figure it out later, okay? Just assume that
just don't use the same tunnel.
Yeah, well no. That's the thing about the Bell Centers. The road team have got to come on the fan side of things. They don't have a tunnel from their bench. They got to cross the rink to get to their locker room.
Most pro stadiums have the separate ones. I was just referencing the
tunnel incident.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, but Canadians are on they're on the brink. They're on the brink against the Caps. But the one thing I don't know if I can agree with you, Ron, on is the Steve Yzerman thing. I don't know what the gelling issue is. What I will say is that I don't think Alex Lyon is the guy. I don't know what you did, but it looks like it hurt yourself. I don't know if Sebastian Cossa, he shinned himself. That's what it was.
My kneecap.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dan Campbell showed
Dan
up.
Campbell. Where is he?
Continue. I'll be fine.
He
I'll be
kneecapped
fine.
himself, Eric. That's what it was.
I see. I thought you said something
Bobby
else.
busted a
Started with an
kneecap.
S.
No. Shin.
I didn't Campbell myself.
You can watch it live on YouTube.
I was worried.
Yeah, but in terms of the wings, I mean, I don't think Alex Line is a guy. I'm hoping that Sebastian Costa can be the next guy between the pipes as far as a backup. I just don't know. He hasn't looked all that good in Grand Rapids the past couple of, at least the past few games leading into the AHL playoffs. And then there is some fat that needs to be cut from the defense. And unfortunately, Jeff Petrie is one of them. He just hasn't been, he's not the Jeff Petrie that people may have remembered when he was in Montreal. But again, that's things that hopefully can be addressed in the offseason. And to kind of counter what you had said before we signed off from the Sunday Playground, sounds like the Red Wings and Patrick Kane are starting to work on a 1-year deal.
Wow. Yeah, I know in the last show it seemed pretty set that at least Kane made it pretty, well known that he's like, hey, I want to go back to Chicago to retire because that's where look, he made a name for himself there. Got to respect him as a player, regardless of what I hate about Chicago.
Exactly.
Hey, if he sticks around, he was really solid this year. I'm glad he's sticking around, hopefully, for another year.
But as our guy Potch said on stream earlier, and it still continues today, no one wants to play in Chicago. So
more Chi-Town hate,
more bashing Chicago sports. So we got that going for us. 734-988-1050. One last call before we sign off for the week, and we head out to Philadelphia. Talk to Philly E. What's up, Philly?
Hey guys, sorry about what happened to your squad yesterday. I'm pretty upset about it because I've watched enough basketball games to know that these illegitimate shots from three-point land where the puppies aren't organized, the guy literally just catches it off balance and jumps into a defender who's literally jumping straight up the air, and these dumbass referees literally blow the whistle. They're almost anticipating calling that foul. Whether it's and half the time the ball is like 10 feet short of the basket because this guy didn't even get off a legitimate shot. Not because he was fouled real hard. It's because the guy just got it out of rhythm and just threw it up there and jumped into a defender. And these guys can't wait to blow to the whistle, right? Mm-hmm. This is true. Or they anticipate it and they blow the whistle, and the dude, I don't even know if he touches them half the time, right? So now we have the situation where a guy takes a legitimate shot and is legitimately fouled, and you're not going to blow the whistle. Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's unconscionable to me that the bogus 3-point fouls that I've seen in the last, I don't know, how many years. And here's a legitimate one. And the situation has nothing to do with it, right? Has nothing to do with it. It's a legitimate shot where the guy took a legitimate jump shot and the guy was legitimately fouled. Right? And that's the thing that really bothers me the most when these guys don't even take a legitimate shot. It's just like they just catch it and they jump into a defender who's going straight up. There is a rule of verticality, but these idiots will call a foul anyway.
Well, you said the situation doesn't matter, but I'm wondering the fact that the refs actually admitted it was wrong. I'm actually guessing that the situation kind of did matter. I think
it mattered.
Yeah.
I think they ended up being like, yeah, we're just not going to call anything at the end there.
Unbelievable.
Which it's cool. We get the short end of the whistle. I mean, Brunson, he's been doing a great job at the foul baiting. So you know what? Give him some credit, man. This is the way that they're going to call it. At the very least, I would say we've gotten a real 90s NBA basketball series out of this Pistons and Knicks series. This is one of the few where it's like, man, we really get transported back to a different time. Back when, I was watching Space Jam, that was a great time.
The first one.
The first one, yeah. That's
No,
right.
there's only one.
I watched the second one. It was fine.
There's only one. There's only one.
I love Don Cheadle. That movie was not good.
It was pretty silly.
And
but,
I got one question for y'all before I go.
Yep.
What round do you think Dion thought to himself, maybe I shouldn't have said, oh, my son's not going to play for this team or that team. Don't draft.
At what point did it click? that
Where we had receipts on what
I
he
think-
said.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I think once Jackson Dart got taken, I think that's actually when it set in.
I mean, Jalen and Dylan both getting taken too.
Yeah.
It's
Yo,
less
but
round and
seriously,
more quarterbacks in front of him.
Jackson Dart, that's a tough pill to
I mean,
swallow.
Dart was
that's a reach.
Taking over a guy named Jackson Dart, that's tough.
It's a reach.
No,
It's
it's
a reach.
bad.
But hey, listen, the kid is not worth the circus that he's going to bring.
No, of course
and if you're and like Cleveland, really, you're going to go from Deshaun Watson nonsense, and now you're going to have two quarterbacks that you bring in, and now you're going to deal with this as well. Like, no, thank you. I wouldn't want to deal with it. His talent does not warrant the circus, right? You could practically go out and look at Cam Newton, right? Stole stereo, kicked out of school, had the whole cloud over him about his father selling him off to the highest bidder. I mean, that kid was under a cloud his entire career. And oh, by the way, his sample size was pretty small. Guess what? Nobody cared. But when you got the hovering helicopter father talking some stupid nonsense, and you got the kid who screwed up at the whiteboard, and oh, by the way, had an attitude when he was called on it, and he showed up to the combine, too cool for school and didn't participate in anything. Hey, guess what, man? I hate to say it, there's accountability in this world. And every time we call one of these kids on it that don't deserve the credibility they think they deserve, everybody starts crying victim. That's too freaking bad.
Yeah, Philly, I know.
Have a good week. I'll talk to you next week. Go Blue.
Bye, Philly.
Yep, you as well, Philly. That's
See you
it for
later.
us in the week. We'll be back with you next Monday. Jamie Morris should be back in studio. Have a great rest of your week. You've been listening to the M Zone, the Big 1050 WTK online at
Hard network out.
big1050.com. Woo!